free. Jeremiah Love trying to go 98. Touchdown! What a run in the first touchdown of the 12-team playoff.
This is 365 Sports.
Daniels keeps it, and he scores.
365 Sports is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Underneath, Smith gets to the corner. Money on the rise. Touchdown, Jeremiah Smith.
365 Sports is also brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, protecting Texans since 1952.
Johnson buys some time. There's the tight end again, rumbling towards the end zone, and the touchdown for Ancio.
Remember when you had a guy, someone who could fix anything? They're still out there at Batteries Plus. With their quick solutions and expert advice on batteries, key fobs, and phone repair, Batteries Plus will have you in and out and on your way in no time. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Dig deep. Klubnik's going to take off. Klubnik for the touchdown.
Now here's David Smoke and Paul Catalina.
Actually, just me today. Smokey is taking a couple days, mental health respite, we'll call it, before he goes absolutely insane during football season. And you might say, like, wow, wasn't he just gone like a week ago? Yes, but most of you have never seen high school football Smokey in person. Ooh. So we just allow that to happen so that he's at his most productive once high school football starts. I've never been more impressed and terrified by a work schedule of a human being, and I'm being very complimentary here.
Oh, it's impressive.
It's impressive what he does during football season, because you would think that we have, we did midway for a long time, all three of us. Now it's just down to him. But you would think, okay, we just do this school, and that's the one that we worry about, which is what 5% of the high school football broadcasters in Texas do. Like, there's a group that includes Smokey and several other people that do kind of a lot of things. Like Bill Coates does a lot of games. Craig Way does a lot of games. The
whole crew at Dave Campbell's.
Yeah. Like Greg Tepper and all these people that you if you're not from here, you don't know them. It's a very small, elite fraternity of people who are covering a lot of high school football. And once the game ends on Friday night, Smokey's only got one thing done, which is the game. After that, all the stuff that goes into Smokey.com and his coverage of all of East and Central, and it's starting to get into North Texas of high school football and his ever-expanding stuff there. It's why he's a Hall of Famer there. It is, I will tell you, it is one of the most crazy undertakings a person can do, more or less by himself. He has a little bit of help sometimes, but more or less it is all him.
It is. And the amount of data that he has to go through and just put together, and all the voting and everything, it's really impressive to see how he's able to manage it. I would go crazy personally.
Yeah.
I would lose my mind.
I just couldn't do it. I just could not. I tried 18 years ago, hey, I'm going to have my own website. And then when I started trying to manage it myself all day long, I was no. Plus it was I wasn't making all that much money, and it was costing me $75 a month. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when radio pays you in honestly, radio would love to pay you in Let's Make a Deal.
Exactly.
Okay, you can have what's behind door number 1 or door number 2. One of the doors has your actual money in it. The other has something that you can never use ever in your life. And that's going to be junk, a car that doesn't run, which you already have because you can't afford a new car, all these different things. That's how bad working in radio is salary wise, which is why the internet is way better in that regard. But it was if they could do that, they would do that. So I didn't $75 Like, it's still like, I don't like spending $75 on anything.
Right.
But it was a lot for something I did not have time to do. And then it was just taking a chunk out of my overall income that was larger. Like when you do it and like that first like 3 months goes by and you're like, man, I really feel I need that $75.
Yeah. And then it's not adding up. Yeah.
Really need that $75. That, it's embarrassing to go to the bank and like you have $1 in your account. It's really embarrassing. So at least I could keep it to $76. Like if I didn't do that. And then when I saw what he was doing when he and I started working together 15 years ago, it was madness. I was like, my God. That's why he drinks 5 Monsters.
I know he's got to keep up.
Yeah, unbelievable. But he'll be back maybe on Monday. Maybe he'll take another day, which we're all fine with. I mean, he's going to work insanely hard for the next 5 months in a way that none of the rest of us can or want to. But anyway, so but yes, big up to Smokey for that. Let's dive into the headlines, Garrett. I know tech fans are going to want me to talk about the big thing that just happened for them, and I'm going to in about 6 headlines.
Correct.
As we lead into Sam Khan and make that part of a larger discussion. But Sam Khan today at 3:40. Tim Brando is confirmed, rescheduled for 4 o'clock. It'll just be me and Tim for as long as Tim can go, which is a long time. Yeah, he'll go. And then we have Mickey Spagnola at 5:30. My top 5. We have nothing scheduled for because we don't know how long we're going to be with Tim, which is why we love having Tim on. But at 5 o'clock, there's an interesting story about Patrick Mahomes, about some of his motivation this year. And it is, I think now, the most common form of chip on your shoulder, fake controversy motivation that players use. And that is your video game rating.
Oh, it's big.
So we're going to talk about at 5 o'clock-ish why video game ratings drive them nuts the most. Of everything, I would say, like if you took a survey, and I would love for somebody like The Athletic to do this, take a survey of all these players of the outside criticisms, what bothers you the most? The blogs, social media, or your TV, television sports, or your video game rating not being what you think it should be. And I think video game rating would win that.
I think it's definitely in the top 2. I think it's because it's to me, I think people put such an emphasis on it because there's so many people from around the world playing and it's all your fans and they're looking at it and it makes you look bad amongst your peers and then worldwide. Yeah.
So I'm curious and I'll have one of the guys follow the chat for me if there's any good stuff there. But of all the things, and I love whatever stupid petty thing that you have to do to create motivation for yourself. Look, I don't know if you, Garrett, if you've ever seen the movie Bull Durham.
I have.
Okay.
It's been a while, but
Bull Durham is what, in my opinion, the best baseball movie ever. And look, I think most people who are baseball movie fans would agree that if it's not their favorite, it's in the top 5. Almost everybody. If you don't like Bull Durham and you like baseball movies, you really don't like either thing. Right. So I'm doubting that Brandon or Andrew might have seen Bull Durham. You seen Bull Durham?
He hasn't.
He hasn't seen Bull Durham. Brandon, you haven't seen Bull Durham, have you? Okay. So there's a scene in Bull Durham where Kevin Costner barges in and he is yelling at Susan Sarandon. She barges in and she's yelling at him. She's yelling at him. He's ironing his pants and she's mad because he will not let there's this love triangle between him and Tim Robbins and her. And he had told Nuke that he should stay celibate because she had said that because he was on a hot streak. And so she talks about all this. This is a great monologue that he has, soliloquy that he has. But he says this, he's like, look, whatever you're doing on a winning streak, not just boiling it down, that makes you think it's working, it is working. So if you're doing well because you are sleeping with Susan Sarandon or you're not, or or your socks are this, then it is true. That you have to believe, those are the things as an athlete to help you focus on I'm doing well. Let me just keep doing, because not changing your socks or doing the same thing every day allows you to keep that routine. Baseball is a great example of this because they have so many games, and
you got to keep your mind right for so long.
The hot and cold streaks come and go so frequently. JD Martinez, during his best seasons, he would always record batting practices, and when he'd have a bad night, he would compare the ones from his worst nights in the games to that batting practice. But every single day, he would watch batting practice of the best statistical night of his career. So it was like a 5 for 5, like 3 home runs, like 2 doubles, like a bunch of RBIs. And so he would try to recreate that batting practice, the way that he approached it every time. And that kept him in the rhythm, that kept him in the routine, that helped him remember. Now, that wasn't always the case. You didn't have the technology.
Right.
Like, he couldn't just pull up have the iPad over there with the hitting coach and go, hey, let me watch this for a second before I go back in. I felt like that wasn't good. Let me compare what I'm doing here and all those things. Now you can. And so those are the things. But superstition helps you get to the routine. It doesn't make any sense, but superstition keeps you in the routine. So that's why it's important. And so you do sometimes have to make things up. And I think that when we have this discussion, if you think about some of the players that are in this, and the one we're specifically talking about needs no extra motivation and has to prove nothing to anybody, but it bothered him. And we'll talk about that later. I feel like I've given a nice preview for it.
You have.
So what people know what to expect. Also, we'll probably get into a little bit of I love superstitions, no matter how dumb they are. So we'll talk about some of those as well later on in the show. All right, let's get to the headlines here, brought to you, of course, by Batteries Plus. Arch Manning. His grandfather, Archie, says he likely won't enter the 2026 NFL draft, and he'll likely stay at Texas, which I think most people
That's not a surprise.
It's not a surprise. He's not going to. None of the rest of the Mannings went to the NFL with 1 year of starting experience. And he is not in a situation where he has to go for the money. Even if this was the old way of doing it, he wouldn't have to go for the money. But in the new way, he's set for life, essentially, with the NIL he has now. If he's any kind of close to what people at Texas expect, he'll be set for life, even if he doesn't do well in the NFL. Like, if he becomes the next great Texas quarterback, free drinks anywhere, there's burnt orange people anywhere.
Oh, he's going to get that anyway.
Yeah, I know, exactly. There's no – look, Vince Young – I don't know if Vince Young's paid for a steak since he left Nashville.
Probably not.
In Austin, in Nashville, there's a very famous story about Vince Young and how he kind of blew through a lot of money because he would go to a Cheesecake Factory and Chili's and all these restaurants, and he would just, because he was lonely, he didn't know anybody, and he was 21 years old and lonely in a new city, and hadn't quite hit it off with all the guys at the team yet, and would go and buy rounds of drinks for people. And, he also had this terribly predatory agent that attached himself to him in high school and then followed him all the way, that stole a bunch of money from him. It's a very tragic story for Vince Young. But so he was spending that money. When he moved back to Austin, I promise you, if
he had his own steakhouse, he had the Vince Young Steakhouse, right on 5th Street or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I promise you, he didn't lose. That was I think of that. In Austin, again, Vince Young can do no wrong. In Nashville, they're like, oh, that's a bummer, it didn't work out. Right. So, Arch Manning, he'll be fine. He'll be totally fine, no matter what. So, and I think I think more quarterbacks should do it. I think we're seeing more quarterbacks stay.
Well, with the money now, you're definitely going to see that. You're going to see more people stay back.
Why would you risk being a second-round pick when you could stay a year and be a first-round pick and make good money?
I wouldn't.
Yeah. And so you don't have – I think there's a lot more reasonable expectations. We've seen it also with guys in college basketball. There's less underclassmen going to the NBA for 2 reasons. One is the rest of the world has caught up
Yep.
as far as their basketball development goes. And two is, there's only 2 rounds in the draft. There's only 60 guys that you're talking about. And if you are even if you're the 61st guy on that list, then you've got to do it the hard way.
Yep.
So now that they can make all this money, I'll do it the hard way once I'm done with my college eligibility. Then I'll go do it the hard way, right? And
my thing too with Arch is if you grew up your whole life wanting to be the quarterback at Texas and you finally have it given to you, you have everything laid out in front. Why would you not want to stay there as long as you possibly can and ride it out? That to me, that made all the sense in the world. I never thought he was going to be a one and done, or I guess he was technically not a one and done, but like a 1 year starter and done. It just never made any sense to me. And I think that you're going to see them find their rhythm this year. I think they'll take a step back from where they were last year. And I would not be surprised if next year when he comes back and they have all the chemistry around him, if they went on a true run towards competing for a national championship.
Yeah, absolutely. So why not? I think they have a lot to prove this year, not just him. Everyone's on Arch. Arch probably has less to prove technically than a lot of the other guys because he's already played a little bit and shown what he can do. But this is the whole season. This is 12 regular season games and potential postseason that he has to live up to this hype. So I think it's a very wise decision. And again, he's going to go in with 20 some odd games starting under his belt if he's healthy, maybe 30 some odd games as opposed to 12. And I do think that I think Cam Ward was by and large the quarterback I would have taken in this year's draft over everybody else
because of the game reps, the experience.
Because he had so many, whether it was UIW, at Wazoo, or at Miami, at all those places, he was the starting quarterback and he has a ton of reps that's why, if I came down to that's why I like Jackson Dart a little bit more. He started for a few years. He has a lot of reps. The guys who scare me the most are the guys who have that one flash in the pan year and then they get to the NFL and they're not that good right away because they've only started 12 games, 13 games in their college career. So it takes them a little longer to get there. I think one of the reasons Bo Nix has been so successful so early is he's played so many games and so many tight games in his career that it's not as big of a step up as far as the pressure goes. No offense to the people in Denver, but you guys are rational compared to the people at Auburn, when he was there and playing in those games where there was a lot of turmoil and all that. So for Arch Manning, it's almost a lateral move when you go from playing in big games in Texas to playing in big games other places. And also, it might be smart because very likely the first pick this year is going to be the Browns.
Yeah, and I don't want to go to the Browns.
Nobody wants to go to the Browns. I don't want to go to the Browns until the Dome's there. When the Dome's there, it might change things.
Maybe.
Even still, the organization is run like a disaster.
Yeah,
so.
I'm not going that. No.
Yeah. So, I think it's a great decision. I hope more people do it.
I do too.
Because legitimately, there's 4 guys every year in the draft that are going to be viable starting quarterbacks. 3 of them are in the first round, and 1 of them is in a random spot. Right. And so that's usually the statistics about it. And if it's going to be here's the other thing about this year. Could potentially be a really good quarterback year.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good quarterback year.
In the draft. Sam Levitt's probably going to come out, I would think.
Nussmeier's coming out.
Nussmeier's coming out, all this. Next year, he's probably not going to have to worry about that much at all. But next year, the demand might be a little bit better too, And so, both of his uncles were picked first overall. So this isn't new.
Nothing new.
This is nothing new either. All right, another quarterback situation. Ryan Day says right now that the competition between Julian Sand and Lincoln Kiholtz is too close to call, and it's going to come down to the wire. I still think this is going to be Julian Sand, but I do think people forgot about Lincoln Kiholtz he was a high 4-star guy. He was right on that edge of 4 and 5-star, and came in before Sand. But both of them are red shirts. Both of them haven't played, so we don't know yet. So we'll see. It's going to come right down to the wire. But this is another reason, Garrett, when I keep talking about, why I think Ohio State might take a small step back this year, and nobody in Columbus should worry about that.
No.
Look at if you're 8-4 then that was tragedy for you.
But you're also, if you're 8-4 and you're Ohio State, you're more than likely still going to find your way in the playoff.
Well, I don't think you'll find their way in the playoff, but they'll
they might.
We'll see,
I wouldn't put it past
them.
them.
But like, if you lose those the four biggest games you have and win the 8 you're supposed to, because you're not that experienced, or you go 2-2 in those games, and then you lose it. Like, I also said this in the top 5. I think they don't lose randoms.
No.
Ohio State loses to Michigan and in bowl games, pretty much. They have not had a random, how the hell did that happen, lost to in Iowa. They almost had one in Nebraska last year, but their losses last year were to Oregon and Michigan.
Yeah.
They've not experienced Alabama has randoms. Alabama had Vanderbilt and Oklahoma last year, which Oklahoma shouldn't be a random, but last year it was a random. Georgia's had some randoms. Was it Mizzou that came out of nowhere and beat them? Georgia's had Kentucky. Kentucky beat them. Ole Miss is the king of randoms. But they're not also on that level. But you name anybody, like Michigan's had some randoms. Anybody else has had those losses where you're like, what? And Ohio State does not have them. So I would not be surprised to see that now this is the year where one of those games jumps up and bites them a little bit. And it's not a bad thing it's not a tragic thing when it happens. It's the nature of college football now. So
I think you're going to see that happen, though. I think with how the conferences have gotten larger and everything, I think you're going to see more teams step up and take those random losses because of how the inconsistency with your strength of schedule as well. But I'm trying to think back, I feel like the last time I remember Ohio State having a random loss was to a really good, that Michigan State team that made the playoff. I feel like they got beat that year, but you're right. They don't ever really lose to anybody outside of the Blue Bloods.
Okay. So they don't lose games in which they're favored in.
No.
Hardly ever.
No.
And then unless that game happens to be lately Michigan,
right,
which is their biggest rival, which now you have to put that factor on it, or they lost by 1 point to Oregon last year
and then blew them out
in Oregon because they they forgot how much time there was. And maybe they would have lost that game anyway, but that's how that game ended. That's how that game went. And then when they got another shot at them, they ate duck à l'orange.
Yes, they did.
It was done. So, this might be the year where that kind of catches up to them a little bit. And the reason is because everybody buckle up for this. Other teams are getting better because they can't hoard talent. They can't hoard it all anymore. Now they can hoard most of it, but when you don't have the same kind of just unlimited depth that they had before,
you're vulnerable.
You're more vulnerable. Everybody's going to have injuries. All it takes is, look at Georgia had injuries of a really good offensive line last year, but they had injuries all along it, and they didn't look the same.
Right.
They didn't have the same kind of wide receivers. They didn't have that because guess what? Even Georgia, a 2-time defending national champ, if you're the 4th or 5th guy on the depth chart, you're not waiting around anymore.
Nope.
Because especially if you go to Georgia, you're 4th on the depth chart. You're 1st on the depth chart at Ole Miss.
Exactly.
You're 1st on the depth chart sadly for the Gators at Florida now. You're 1st on the depth chart at anywhere else. At Miami. My gosh, at Miami, boom. I'm not the 3rd receiver anymore.
Nope.
I'm the number 1 guy here, and I'm making the same amount of money. So yeah, it's a completely different game than it used to be, as you know. ESPN lost out on this venue sports thing. It got completely cratered by this lawsuit. Then they just bought the company that brought the lawsuit. So that company was made whole.
America.
Good, yeah.
America in motion.
Yeah, absolutely. So they bought that company, and that's part of their offering now. But Bob Iger, who is the president of Disney, said ESPN is still pursuing partnerships for a potential sports bundle, which would be a place where every sport, every game that's on would be all in one spot. Now, as much as I do not like monopolies and corporations all coming together, as a person who's a frequent sports watcher, I will give this one, if we can get another one back down the line, because this would be a lot easier. And it's really hard for sports fans to find what they want if it's on, if it's, this used to be on your cable, if you used to do it, ESPN and Fox, they were all right there, right? And then like the bundling and the subscribing, like even if you have YouTube TV or you have Hulu or you have whatever, now you have to like get tier. It's very confusing. So if you could put all that stuff in one place, I think it's a very good idea. But I also understand that if you're a smaller app that has sports rights, you want your slice of the pie too, and you don't want to just have to take maybe a below market deal because they've now pushed you into a corner. Which is what happened to Fubo. Like Fubo, I think they got a good deal, and Fubo had a lot of good stuff going on, but they're now part of the ESPN Hulu gigantic monstrosity. But see, like the reason a college football red zone, like everybody would have to do their own, right?
Yeah, I don't know if the more I thought about that college football, I don't know if that's a good idea on the red zone part.
Well, I mean, I think it's a good idea, but everybody would have to do their own version of it. So CBS, NBC, Fox, and ESPN, they'd all have to do their own. So or like TNT, like everybody who had that.
Like your SEC games would do their own on Fox. Your ESPN would have, with SEC.
I think it almost would have to be, but it would be maybe, well, you can't really do it conference by conference because of the whole day.
Right.
But like everybody would have to do it with the rights that they own. So, I saw somebody mention this in a comment the other day. So if you just did ESPN as the college football red zone, they have the ACC, they have the Big 12, they have the SEC, but there would be no Big 10 in that. So you're really going to have a college football red zone without the richest conference in it, And so those are the things that you do, or you wouldn't have. You also wouldn't have Notre Dame half the time either. No. So all these things that all the power brokers would want. I mean, there's probably a way to do it that they can get through, all of that. But it's going to take more than just like agreeing to a partnership and then hoping that someone like Fubo doesn't go like, oh, hey, whoa, no.
Yeah, what about that?
Yeah, because all Fubo, like it worked out for Fubo because they needed to at least delay it to figure it out, which a lawsuit does. And then they got bought. So hopefully the shareholders and the people in Fubo feel good about that. But
so who else? Like I know Fubo is the main person. Like does Flow Sports fall into the Fubo?
Yeah,
category?
exactly. Like Flow Sports, something like that. And like they have rights to things.
Right.
So like where does that go? And eventually, again, also this is where Cody Campbell's plan comes in of negotiate all the rights together, and then figure it out. I personally, if I ran a network, I don't like the fact that, and like ESPN has the advantage in this because they have everybody. Fox has a few conferences, but ESPN has everybody in the Big Ten.
Right.
But if I'm at CBS and I don't have the SEC anymore, and I have the Big Ten and then some like spotty other games, I would rather just have everything. Like I would just be able to like all the people who have college football rights. Every week we have a draft of, okay, you're going to get this game. You're going to get this game. We're going to get this game. We're going to get this game. That'd be easier. Like that's what I would like for me, just because or if I was running college football, I would want that way. It's all across, and people who are, like Big Ten fans are only going to watch CBS and Fox, right? I don't know. I'm not the guy to be in charge of it clearly, but there's got to be a better way to do things than they are right now. All right. Next up, Travis Hunter. He's officially been named the Jaguars wide receiver 2 and cornerback 4, and he will play both roles. More as a wide receiver to start, and he will do that starting this weekend against the Steelers. So for all the people that thought that he might be just one or the other, the Jaguars and Liam Cohen being very smart about it, he's doing both.
No, I think he should do both.
Yeah.
I'm personally surprised that they didn't flip it, like that he would have been higher up on the depth chart as a cornerback. And then probably like your third or fourth option as a receiver, because just watching the game, I think he's better at defense than he is a receiver. So, but I'm glad that they're actually leaning into the notion that we drafted this talent and we're going to take advantage of what he could do and provide for us on both sides of the ball, instead of trying to fit him into a round peg into a square hole or whatever. Say, okay, you got to choose one or the other. I like how they're leaning into their investment.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love it. And for Colorado and Big 12 fans out there, this should be fun. And look, the Jaguars are very rarely interesting to watch.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
But I think Liam Cohen, I'm really excited to see him as a head coach. I hope that he can do well for Trevor Lawrence. And I'm a big Travis Hunter fan. So,
even though you're a little stung by it.
Like I never stopped liking him. I was so excited for what could happen. And I'll tell you, I think 2-10 has a lot to do with the fact that the Travis Hunter is that Travis Hunter thing, that's been Mike Norvell's bugaboo of they get to the guy we're about to talk about in a second. They got far down the road with him, but when it comes to the last day,
he can't close, man.
He cannot close.
He cannot close a recruiting.
Now, they're doing better because they brought in Evan Cooper. And Evan Cooper, who we've known for a long time because he was here at Baylor and he was at Nebraska and now he's at FSU. Evan Cooper can close. Yeah, Evan Cooper can go get those guys. He's also really good. He knows every high school in he's like the young Gil Brandt to me. When I talk to him, I remember the last time I saw him, I was talking about a player that they had signed the year before. And he's like, yeah, I was out at this high school in this place talking to this guy. And he listed 3 others. And I just happened to swing by and say hey, I'm going to get a look at him because I've seen his film. And we haven't talked to him yet, but
I just want to see it.
I'm 45 miles away. It'd be stupid if I didn't. And he just, took that little trip out of his way and went and saw the guy. And then they hit it off and he wound up going, with Evan Cooper and Matt Rule. So, but yeah, he's there, but he started, I think he stayed.
Yeah.
Mike Norvell's story is even better. It's way different.
Oh, it's definitely different.
It's definitely different because you would have had the
him on that defense with Verse and Fisk and stuff. Oh my God.
Wait, you know what? I'll tell you this. Jordan Travis could have broken both his legs.
Oh my God.
And then have been no, we got to put FSU in the playoff because of Travis Hunter. He would have made the difference.
Could have put his ass at quarterback.
Then Travis Hunter. They would have. Here's the thing. Think about the wide receiver group would have been
Keon, him.
With Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, and him.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The corner, Renardo Green, him, Jerry and Jones. It's my new Randy Moss.
Oh.
It's my new Randy Moss. If I ever get a chance to meet Randy Moss, which I never have, I'm going to ask him. Here's the thing. Randy Moss should have been a Cowboy. They should have drafted him.
He should have.
They should have drafted him. He was a Florida State Seminole, and they kicked him off the team for weed.
Dumb.
For weed, Garrett.
That's dumb.
Weed.
Dumb.
Weed.
Yeah.
You know how mad I am when guys get kicked off teams for weed?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Makes no sense.
They haven't stopped them from doing it.
No, you're not going to.
No, nobody. Anyway, here's a ridiculous story. Former Tennessee and Louisiana Tech and a lot of coaches everywhere. Former Dallas Cowboys wide receiver coach Derek Dooley is launching a Senate bid in Georgia to take on John Ossoff. He's got to run through a primary and all these things. So Yay. I'm just gonna say this. I looked through the history of football coaches.
It's not good.
Running for political office.
Not good.
And this is a both sides of the aisle thing.
Absolutely.
There are maybe 4 in the history that were successful in politics is a gray area.
Yes.
Keep getting elected doesn't mean you're actually good at your job. It just means you're good at getting elected.
You know how to buy off people.
Yeah. What was the I don't know if you ever seen Charlie Wilson's War or read the book.
I haven't. I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it.
Charlie Wilson was the politician from East Texas, and one of the things that they said about him was before all the things that he did, his greatest legislative achievement was getting reelected 4 times. That's what he was really good at, was getting reelected. And he didn't dispute that either.
Right. No, he's not going to.
So some guys are good at getting elected, but as far as successful careers, respected careers, there's maybe 4 all time.
Well, we're at a time where that doesn't matter.
No, but
burn down the empire.
But what I'm saying though is I think we need to really think about coaches running for office.
Yeah, it shouldn't be happening.
But yeah, because it's just not, your percentage is going to be low.
Especially if you have a piss poor record, you've been ran out everywhere you've coached. There's a track record. We're seeing a theme. Pay attention, people.
Yeah.
The ugly ass orange pants and stuff.
Yeah.
Good
Derek Dooley can't go hey, when I successfully got fired from that one.
Got fired from that one.
Nope, got fired from that one. Nope. No, hey, 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 Georgians, you remember my dad? Like, that's what he could say.
Poor Vince.
Yeah. So may he rest in peace.
Exactly. Vince was OG. I remember.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, finally, before we go to Sam Khan, Texas Tech has landed another 5-star 2027 Savannah, Georgia defensive end. LaDamian Guyton is on his way to Tech. They are on it. And when I was talking about Ohio State, like, this is why teams like Ohio State are going to get got more than they used to, because now teams like Texas Tech have the keys to the kingdom just like they do, and can, if they have a motivated alumni base, make these things happen.
I love it. I'm all for this.
Yeah.
I love the chaos with this. We were doing the message boards genius thing with the triple option, and we're going to bring that back eventually, I hope. But I was looking at some of the message boards reactions to this, and there's a lot of people, like, there was one specific in
melting
LSU
down
that was losing your mind, and I'm all for it.
Hey,
all for this.
I saw, I've seen several message board geniuses things from schools that weren't even in this Final Four.
Yeah.
Especially ones that were close. Like,
it was Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Tech in the Final Four.
Yeah. So 3 of those schools are relatively close to Savannah.
Correct.
Texas, Lubbock is not close to Savannah.
No.
You would say Lubbock is close to Savannah if you said I could either go to Lubbock or to Moscow, Russia.
That's fair.
And you'd be like, well, Lubbock's way closer. So my parents can get there a lot easier. Like, I can either go to Lubbock or I can go to Zimbabwe or Madrid. Then it's closer than that. There's no ocean in between it, but the other ones were close. He made the decision, and look, they're rolling. They are rolling along. And this is how Tech, I love this. This is a spoof of the Dark Knight. Here is Joey Maguire as the Joker.
I love that.
That's great.
They nailed it.
Nailed it. Like, he is.
Tech is cooking, man.
Yeah. And you know what happens in the scene right before that? Do you remember in the movie?
I know.
So
I think I've seen it once.
Oh, I've seen it 40 times. Heath Ledger goes into the hospital room where Harvey Dent is. The Joker goes in there, and he tells him to introduce a little anarchy. And that is what Tech is doing. They are anarchy when it comes to this.
We need it.
Yeah.
You need this in college football, man.
Yeah, no, I think you do. I think,
it got stale. I was tired of seeing Bama the same crap. This is fun.
Yeah.
This is
great. So I am all for introducing a little anarchy. A guy who's not an anarchist in any way, shape, or form, but he's super fun. Sam Khan of The Athletic comes up next.
That's my go-to guy. Can you fix my smartphone?
Yes.
Do you have car batteries?
Yeah.
What about golf cart batteries?
Of course.
Battery from a T-fob?
Absolutely.
My boat?
Huge variety.
Toy boat?
Sure.
Motorcycles?
You bet.
My apartment building?
Whole building.
Do you have batteries for my party lights?
Yeah.
Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Right now at Berg Colgin Ford, we're bringing you an offer that's as big as America. Employee pricing for everyone. You pay what they pay. That means you drive home a new Ford F-150, Bronco Sport, Expedition, Super Duty. From America, for America. Employee pricing for everyone at BK Ford. Looking to sell your vehicle? Get top dollar for yours today. Don't miss out. Employee pricing is available for a limited time. Visit us anytime at bkford.com. Experience better at BK Ford.
I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. This is how I wanna live. I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
You got batteries for my side-by-side?
Yes.
Replace my flashlight?
Sure thing. What about my business?
Oh, good one.
100%. Batteries for my fleet of trucks?
Got floor scrubbers?
Yes, and fire panels. We have pallets of batteries.
Well, what about...
As your go-to guy, if it needs a battery, we have it.
Well, that's all you had to say.
Could have led with that.
Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
This is 365 Sports.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Welcome back, 365 Sports. We're awaiting Sam Kahn to hop into the backstage area of our StreamYard. And by the way, thanks to the fine people at StreamYard for inventing yourself. He'll be there in 5 minutes.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool. So we'll have Sam in about 5 minutes. Here's why. Because of the thing we were just talking about, LaDainian Guyton.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so he's got to update that story real quick. So, and that's why I waited till the end, knowing that we had some ravenous Tech fans on there want to hear us talk about it. But this is another 5-star that they've gotten. They've gotten one on either side of the ball for the next 2 recruiting classes with Felix Ojo and then now LaDainian Guyton. And we don't cover a lot of recruiting because it's like, especially high school recruiting has been really hard to follow the last few years because it doesn't really matter as much, but maybe it's starting to matter a little bit more again.
I think it is. I think people are starting to realize that you have to, like, it's great to get people out of the portal, but you have to build still through recruiting and then just kind of take the Iowa State approach like you did this year, where you bring in like 7 or 8 people to fill your gaps there. But I think you are seeing people go back into the old school mentality of we have to build depth through recruiting. And it's just a matter of retention at that point. And that's where I think if you were able to sign like NIL contracts up to a couple of years, that way you guaranteed like I have you and I can build around you instead of the worry of are you going to bounce after this season. Once we can get that into place and some structure around it, then I think you'll see more of an uptick in the recruiting as well, the way it has been.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, and that's part of it is that like trying to figure out what it's going to be. Now, granted, it could, after all these different things, right, that have happened in the month since they passed or agreed to the House settlement and all that and went into effect that have changed already, maybe it will become back to where it was.
I think it will.
It maybe goes back to where it was before the House settlement even happened, and it's still, kind of wide open. I think though, I think a lot of players want some transfer restrictions. If you ask a lot of players in every sport, look, I would love the opportunity to transfer if I have to, but most players, when they make their decision, they make the decision of the college that they want to go to for their entire college experience. It's the minority. There's so many players that are going in. It's not like there's more players in the portal than out of the portal, but there's so many going in and they go in multiple times. The athletes, like, they want to build teams. Like, it's in their nature to build a team. I think part of the reason is we all grew up playing sports. We like working as part of a group and a team, like just in our professional lives. So when people are coming and going, it's frustrating all the time. And, it's hard to be part of a team for a long time when you're constantly coming, building and building and building. So yeah, I think the one-time transfer rule is good.
I do too.
And if you want a multi-time transfer rule, you got to have a really good reason to me.
To me, it would have to be like your head coach left. That's the
or
only
you have
coaching
some
move.
Sort of
family,
legitimate issue where you being there is important,
right?
And a lot of times I think that it is. I think other times I think that's been used as the excuse to get the multi-time transfer thing through. All right, now we're joined by Sam Kahn of The Athletic. Sam just got back from Nashville, and we'll talk about the recruiting symposium here in a second. But Sam, LaDainian Guyton, another 5-star to Texas Tech. We played the video that Texas Tech put up of Joey Maguire AI'd into the Joker in Dark Knight, blowing up, like introducing a little anarchy. And I think that's the perfect metaphor for what they've done, because in this era of college football, if you have the motivated alumni and athletic department, you can, exactly. If you're financially motivated, if they're in, then you don't have to look at all the other schools and go, how can we beat you? You now know how you can.
Okay. First, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool, good. It's been a crazy day, crazy week. By the way, football's almost here. And Paul, I cannot tell you how excited I am that football's here. I just came back. You mentioned I was in Nashville for the Personnel and Recruiting Symposium, which is like 1,100 college football staffers, NFL scouts, agents. And I came back, landed late last night in Houston, and I am just jazzed up for football, because that's all I did for 3 days was talk about football. And, of course, NIL and contract negotiations and all this other stuff. But we're almost here. But on LaDainian Guyton, the 5-star recruit from Georgia, who Texas Tech just landed a commitment from. By the way, 2027, so we still got a long way to go. But in this era, in the player compensation era, you have a better shot of this sticking because we're offering real money at this point. So, number one, it's huge that Texas Tech did this because they pulled out a 5-star edge rusher, the number one edge rusher in the country, out of the state of Georgia when Georgia offered him. Georgia was one of the finalists. Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina. They went into SEC country and got a guy that SEC teams wanted, in particular Kirby Smart and the home state Bulldogs. Of course, the financial resources are a big part of that. We have a story coming up at The Athletic probably within the next 5 minutes here as my editor finishes publishing it. But from what I was told, the contract is going to be 3 years, up to $3.5 million. I believe he's going to supposed to receive $900,000 the first year, $1.2 the second year, $1.4 million the third year. So when you have those financial resources and you're able to offer high dollars, they were, as we know, when they got Felix Ojo, the offensive tackle from the 2026 class recently, $2.3 million over 3 years. When you can splash the pot like that financially, that can equalize the playing field. That can make up a big difference. They don't have the national championship that Georgia has. They don't have the recruiting pedigree that Kirby Smart has. But guess what? They've got the money, and that goes a long way. Yeah,
absolutely. It's one of my great failings in life that I didn't get into the oil business, and then just now in this era, like, believe me, Travis Hunter would have never gone to Colorado. It wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have happened. Like, I listen, I would have gone toe to toe with Deion. Like, he would have. His great grandkids would have been well taken care of. Like, that's how bad I would do it as a fan. So, but they are, and look, this is because they're getting these guys. This season on the field becomes really important to them, because if they're just going to be a place that pays a lot but doesn't win, kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. Like, if you're just that, then eventually, like the other big schools that win are going to financially match them, right? Or at least get close. And so you have to win, because as much as people want to say it's just about the money, man, like if LaDainian Guyton's best friend goes to Georgia and Georgia wins a national title and Tech still is what they've been, then he might have, like, guys like that might have regrets about going to Tech, and then it's going to hurt them long term. So this year on the field is maybe, I don't want to overstate things, but it's maybe the most important in Texas Tech history.
Yeah, James Blanchard, their general manager, I talked to him and Cody Campbell, of course, who we all know, Joey Maguire, all those guys really extensively did a story earlier this week on how big and how important this season is for Texas Tech. And I think all of them feel the pressure to really win, to not just win 9 or 10 games, but win the Big 12. And Blanchard, the way he put it to me was this: he doesn't feel like this is a do or die season, but this is absolutely a proof of concept season in that they need to prove that all of this that they're putting in, the resources, the $250 million indoor practice facility, or I'm sorry, football complex attached to the indoor practice facility and the south end zone facility, and the $25 million they put behind the football roster, and the $12 million they put into the portal class, and this coaching staff, Joey McGuire going into year 4, all this offseason hype you hear, it has got to translate into wins, and we mean significant wins, not just, hey, let's go 9-3 and let's have a great season. No, it's go win a Big 12 title. At the very minimum, go play for a Big 12 championship, which, by the way, Texas Tech has never done. Do you know when the last time Texas Tech won an outright conference championship?
Well, I know the last time they have a banner is 1994, but I don't think that was outright.
That was the 5-way tie when Texas A&M was on probation. That was one of my favorite Southwest Conference seasons ever. The last outright title, 1955 in the Border Conference. For Texas.
Wow.
They had a co-championship in the 70s in the Southwest Conference. They had the shared championship in 94, as like I said, in the 5-way tie in 94, but 55 was the last outright conference championship that this program has won. So this is not a program that has that type of pedigree. But as Cody Campbell had said, why should that stop us? Because in this era, they're checking all the other boxes. They're checking the facilities box. They're checking the financial compensation box. They're checking the coaching stability box. Well, I shouldn't say stability, but they've got the head coach stability. A lot of the staff has been there the entire time. The personnel staff has been there the entire time. So there is a lot of stability in that building, though they did change coordinators this offseason. But they're checking a lot of other boxes. What the only thing they haven't done is actually make it happen on the field. And that's a big deal. Like, they've started the last 2 years a little slow. Remember in 2023, they lost to Wyoming right out of the gate. Last year, they almost lost to Abilene Christian in the opener, and then they got ramrodded by Wazoo. So this is really like these first few weeks of the season and this season as a whole, it's very much a proof of concept. They've got to show that the proof is in the pudding because, and kids will still come, I think, if they pay them top dollar. But like you said, and you talk to players, you talk to families, the money does matter a lot, but the other things still do matter. Winning tradition, putting guys in the NFL draft, coaching, and the relationship with those guys, those things still matter in recruiting. They may not be the number one thing, but they are still very much real factors. And the way you know that is with the way that people are able to retain players. Because every personnel director, GM you talk to will tell you retaining a player is cheaper than getting a player in the portal, because if they're happy, they will take less. And so if you're willing to take less, that means that other things are more important to you. So that's why I think this season is so important at Texas Tech, because they've got to prove they can do it and do it at a high level.
Yeah, that's something that corporate America has forgotten over the last 20 years or so. Like, hey, if you just make people happy and give them like steady raises that keep them comfortable, they're not going to march into your office and say, hey, this guy over at this other place makes twice as much for the same job. They'll be like, you know what, I like it here. I'm happy. I'm taken care of, and that's good. That's human nature, to be comfortable and happy, and then not really, just chase dollar signs. So, it is crazy important for them to start out well and continue well along the way. And I have a side note on that 94 season. My dad, fighting Texas Aggie class of 1965, bought me a T-shirt that year that said, "You don't need TV if you're good."
Yeah. Remember when we banned people from TV?
Yeah,
those were sanctions. That actually would, I don't know how damaging that would be now. It probably would be pretty damaging, but that's what we used to do. I was watching the old SMU 30 for 30, the Pony Excess recently, and they were talking about banned from TV for a couple of seasons. And it's wild. That's how we used to levy punishment in that day and age.
I actually think if you said you're not going to be on TV and a huge chunk of your television revenue, not all of it, because you'd have to shut down the athletic department, but you had to give back some of that television revenue, especially the conferences that are incentivized for a lot of those things now, I think that would be a huge deal. I think that would be a bigger deal than anything else to make them go like, oh, okay, yeah.
Forfeit TV money?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, if you have to forfeit TV money and you cannot be on TV, so no one can see you, and the only way that you can be on is you can be on like you can't shoot, the video has to be like this big.
you hear that? College Sports Commission, the CSC that's doing the clearinghouse stuff and enforcing all these rules. There's your deterrent.
Yeah.
Take people's TV money. That's your deterrent if you want to keep everybody in line on this new player compensation era in terms of following rules.
Yeah, take their TV money, and they can be on the radio, but not with their radio broadcast team. With a team that hates, like the guys who like finished runner up at for the job at their rival
dream job on ESPN.
Yeah, just or like somebody like, oh hey, what job do you want? Like, oh, I would really love to be the play-by-play guy at Oklahoma. Guess what? You're the play-by-play guy at Oklahoma State because they cheated. So
That's
everything
terrific.
good or bad that happens to you, it sounds differently from a guy who hates your guts.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
That's what I think they should do. They should put me on this commission, Sam. I'm just telling you.
There you go.
Yeah,
I
I can think up. I had an Italian father. I can think up really crazy punishments for things. So tell me about this recruiting symposium in Nashville. I saw a lot of your tweets about it, and I know that you're going to write about it and all that. It is a new era of recruiting, so it feels like they probably need some more symposiums and things, because it's not I'm going to go to this high school and talk to this kid. If he wants to come here, great. If he doesn't want to come here, great.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that anymore.
Yeah.
It was a fascinating event in Nashville. They had over 1,000 recruiting staff from across college football. Also, a lot of NFL teams were represented with their scouts and agents from across both the NFL and the NIL college side as well. But it's an event that's been going since 2018. It was started by Mark Pantoni, the Ohio State general manager, Ed Manowitz, who he's now an agent of CAA, but used to be one of the first directors of player personnel at Alabama in the Nick Saban era, one of the pioneers, Pat Sudis, Matt Lindsay, who also were former Alabama recruiting specialists and also went on to have their own personnel departments in college football, also were part of it. This was a thing that back in 2018, there was maybe only 100 people there because there weren't that many personnel departments. There weren't general managers in college football. There weren't a lot of assistant player personnel directors and scouting directors, but now there is. And so now I walk into that room on Monday and there's 1,000 people in there listening to, by the way, an NFL GM from the Bears talking and listening to people from across the spectrum that have done this at a high level and people that are trying to figure out how to do it. And there's a lot of discussion about, as you would expect, all the issues that we have now, but most of it's centered around player acquisition. How do you handle negotiations with a player and his agent and his family? How do you handle contract language? What should go into a contract? How do you evaluate players? How do you find the hidden gems? All that type of stuff. It's very inside baseball. If you're a recruiting nerd, you'd really love it. And I'm one of those, so I definitely check that box. But it was fascinating to hear, and you learn a lot because you hear of all the different issues, because what the issues that Alabama and Texas and Ohio State have are very different from the issues that North Texas and Coastal Carolina have. And so, but everybody's trying to do the same thing. They're trying to win football games and acquire the best players they can with the budget they have. So interesting 3 days, fascinating 3 days. And to me, it almost was representative of how much the NFL and college football, at least from a personnel standpoint, is converging. They're getting closer and closer and more intertwined. You go to the NFL Combine now, you'll see a lot of college GMs go to that. They'll show up at the Senior Bowl and things like that. So those worlds are starting to clash more and more. And I saw a lot of that in Nashville also.
What do you think that is the goal? Like the goal of the general manager? Like how does the future of that job look after all you learned? Because like Kirby Smart still doesn't have one, right? He doesn't have one. But they're all kind of different arrays around, what people want, but eventually probably becomes more a unified and clear job like it is in the NFL, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. So you have different levels. You have the Andrew Luck level, which is I'm in charge of everything. I can hire and fire the football coach. I'm in charge of all the decisions in the football program. That's almost like the NFL model, right? And that's very, very few and far between. There's not very many of those. Ron Rivera, I think, has similar power, or at least they gave him similar power at Cal this year after a little bit of a power struggle. That was really interesting how that played out this offseason. But very, very few have that kind of power. The most common GM in college football is I work under the head coach, but I have run of the personnel department, meaning I am managing all the personnel staff, the director of player personnel, the scouting directors, the recruiting operations director, and that staff. And I make sure that we're identifying the right players, evaluating the right players, acquiring the right players. I also am probably involved in contract negotiations, and maybe the head coach is involved in that too, but I'm in those conversations with the agents, and I'm on top of the transfer portal, and I'm making sure that we are on top of our roster and making sure that we have all those spots filled, that we're allocating the money properly. And then you have the interesting in between. You have the Jim Nagy type, which is I'm on the same level as the head coach on the org chart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not under the head coach, but I'm working with the head coach, and I run the personnel department. And I have quite a bit of autonomy, which Jim Nagy has. He was able to hire out his scouting staff and build it out like a pro personnel department the way he wanted to. But he consults with Brent Venables, and they have conversations. He consults with the coaching staff because you want to acquire players that your position coaches and coordinators can work with. So there's that model as well. So I think what the ultimate goal is, I think everybody, if you ask every college GM, I think some of them would like to be the Andrew Luck, but I think a lot of them would like to get to the Jim Nagy level where maybe you're not beholden to a head coach, that if the head coach gets fired, that means you lose your job too, that maybe your personnel staff can hang around through multiple head coaches. But there's also a lot. I talked to, Marshall Malco, who's at Oregon, who works with Dan Lanning. I talked to him this spring when I did a story about the rise of the GM, and he mentioned to me, he's like, I always believe that you should be in tandem with your head coach, and you should be doing things in step with him. And so there's a lot of different beliefs and a lot of different models for that. But I think ultimately what college GMs want is just more say. They want more say. Obviously, they want to be compensated better, which a lot of them are. Now you're starting to see some are getting into the 7 figures. Blanchard, I mentioned earlier, he's in the mid 6 figures. So you're getting guys who are compensated at a higher level, but they want to be able to, I think, be like an NFL GM in some ways, at least from running the personnel operation as far as that goes.
All right, Sam, last thing and the most important thing of this. You were in Nashville. You ate hot chicken. I was looking on your Instagram. I think you were at Hattie B's. Am I right? Correct. You were at Hattie B's.
Yes.
Okay. There's many places. Like the 3 best, in my opinion, are in no particular order: Prince's, Hattie B's, and Party Foul. Party Foul, though, like they will lie to you about how hot it is to watch you stuff. So tell me your hot chicken experience in Nashville.
Okay, so I have a story for you on this front. It goes back actually more than a decade. So the first time I went to Nashville was in 2014. I was there for the Music City Bowl. Yeah. And I had, friends and people had told me about the hot chicken experience. So I went to Hattie B's and I got what was called the Damn Hot, which is like the second from the highest. The Shut the Cluck Up is the highest.
Yeah.
I went second highest, and I went in there cocky. I was thinking, man, because you got to understand.
Well, it's not a sauce either. It's a seasoning and a rub, and
yeah.
So.
And so I'm of both South Asian and Hispanic descent, so I can handle my fair share of spicy food. Like I grew up eating, Hispanic, Mexican food. I grew up eating Indian food, Pakistani. So I can handle my fair share. But I went in there cocky, and I was defeated my first time there 11 years ago. I could not finish the meal. I was sweating. I was drinking, chugging water as fast as I could. It was a miserable experience the first time. So this time I came, and I wanted to do something different, but there was a sense of pride in me that said, I cannot let this thing conquer me. I have to go back and redeem myself. So I went back to Hattie B's, and I got the Damn Hot, and you know what? I conquered it. I was able to do it. I was able to finish it, and I did not panic. I did not sweat. I did not have any issues, and I was very proud of myself for doing that. Now, a friend of mine who lives in Nashville, Joe Rexroad, who works with us, told me, hey, you need to go to Prince's. Prince's is better. So I also went to Prince's before I left because I was there for a few days. And I will say I did like Prince's better than Hattie B's. But I had to go back to Hattie B's just to redeem myself from the first bad experience I had. And I'm proud to say that I did.
Yeah. Prince's is the original. It's the original. So like it's always going to be the better
excellent.
One.
I had Prince's on the last day, and it was terrific.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Party Foul, which you do need to check out the next time you go.
I went with, they said they have.
Oh yeah. They have really good. But so part of the first time I went, I'm pretty good with spicy food. But I asked her like the difference between the medium and this, and like the people who were with me were Nashvillians, so they were like, "Yeah, give me this one." Like, also, would you pour gasoline in my mouth? And so I ate one of the pieces of chicken they gave me, and I had to order a milk, which is ultimately because we were there with my wife's friends and like all these things. Like it wasn't something like, hey, let's go home, because we're not going to see these people for months at a time, right? So it was. I've never been more embarrassed at a restaurant. Like really,
Same here.
First time I did,
I was awful.
But I do think like they told me she'll lie to you because they want to see newbies die. Like they want to see you like be like, I'm a tough guy. I can tell you, you know what? Yeah. You know what? Just, put a couple of ghost peppers on the top too, just in case. Yeah.
I was humbled my first time, but I'm happy to say that I was able to conquer it this time.
Well, I'm proud of you, Sam. There's not many achievements in life that feel like that. So Sam, we'll talk to you again, hopefully next week. I know that's crazy busy, but we'll see Sam again really soon, and it's coming, buddy. Like next week is the last week where we have to talk about this in the abstract.
2 more Saturdays without football.
Yeah. Next week's the last week of like, this might happen. No, then we've got Ireland and everything's good to go after that.
Sam Houston and Western Kentucky in week 0, baby.
Oh yeah, there we go. All right.
Maverick McIver, Western Kentucky.
Yeah. There we go. We talked about them yesterday, Garrett, about how they're really good at grabbing guys like that and then making them throw for 11,000 yards.
That's my G5 sleeper this year is Western Kentucky because of Maverick McIver and Rick Bowie. So
there we go. Sam Kahn of The Athletic joins us. Always love hearing from Sam. This is 365 Sports. The one and only Tim Brando is next.
Big savings are waiting at Allen Samuels in Waco. Drive off in a 2025 Jeep Wrangler Sport for just $29,990, or grab a new Jeep Compass Latitude for only $26,700. The road and trails are calling. And wrap up your summer in style with the Make This the Summer event at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Pizza, burgers, and Bears football. There's no place around Waco that serves them all other than Bubba's 33. Come show your green and gold and enjoy some of Waco's best food and beverages while watching your favorite team, the Bears. When real Bears fans get hungry, Bubba's 33 is the #1 spot for ice-cold drinks, hand-stretched, stone-baked pizzas, and bacon-infused burgers. Join us for indoor or patio dining. Bubba's 33, Waco's restaurant and proud supporter of Baylor Bears football. Sick 'em, Bears.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. Don Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Ready to take your business to the next level? Carrion Solutions has got you covered. We deliver world-class IT consulting, including Quest On Demand and Migration Manager, M365 and Exchange migrations, Active Directory assessments, security hardening, and Windows Server upgrades. Our experts specialize in consulting, monitoring, support, and managed IT services. We promise vision, professionalism, and unbeatable value. Satisfaction guaranteed. If you're not happy, we make it right. Remember the name Carrion Solutions. For more info, email sales@carrionsolutions.com or visit carrionsolutions.com. That's CARRION solutions.com. Carrion Solutions, IT success guaranteed.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
This is 365 Sports. Text us at 254-339-1122. The text line is sponsored by Riverbend's Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
Welcome back, 365 Sports. Tim Brando should be in a minute. Garrett just spoke with him telephonically.
I did.
Yeah. So he should be in it. Like, fear not.
He's coming.
Brando Fandos. Is that what they're called?
Brando Fandos? That's actually very clever.
Yeah.
Yes.
People are missing out on my marketing genius, Garrett.
They are.
We've said this for years.
Consulting. There's a whole lot of avenues here that we're missing out on.
We're missing out on this. Like, I'll cut the three of you in. Really, honestly, I'll cut the three of you in. Honestly, you put me in any TV news station, I will it won't be dorky anymore.
Good.
Or
we need that.
Or if dorky is their thing, it'll be the most dorky thing, right?
Yeah.
So whatever your thing is, we're going to lean into it. We had a weatherman here forever named Andy Anderson. I think he's retired now. Andy was he was a cowboy. I mean, he really was. Spare time, he worked in, he had ranch and he rode horses and cowboy stuff, right? So he did all that. And the station he worked at never leaned into it. But if I were them, I would have been like, I've got Andy the weather cowboy. And he would have been like, we're going to lasso up the news here. We're going to lasso up the forecast.
Up the sunny days.
Instead of him doing the thing, he would pull the rope on the blue screen and it would pull in the 5-day forecast. These are things that work. Are they hokey? Yes, but
lean into it, man.
They would, lean into it. So I'm wondering if Tim thinks that I'll just pitch the idea to him right off the bat. Tim, I just called fans of Brando Fandos, and
FOBs. Fans of Brando.
Fans of Brando. Okay. Yeah. Tim, it's always great to talk to you. Before we get to anything, you're getting ready for the season. You just had your big Fox, group seminar yesterday in LA, seminar in LA yesterday. Those things are always equal parts fun and can we get this over with? I know. But when you have good corporate culture, it's always fun. But I want to ask you about your alma mater, ULM, and their coach kind of going old school and being the interim athletic director, and what that means, at least short-term and long-term for the program, because I know that they're under tremendous financial constraints right now.
Yeah, and thanks for and by the way, to our corporate community at Fox, let me say this. I've gone to a lot of seminars at a lot of different networks because I couldn't keep a job. So, but none are more fun than Fox's, okay? We have the best seminars. Of all the seminars in sports television, we have the best. I can say that with some clarity. As to the alma mater, let me say this, that Bryant Vincent's the #1 show in town, and particularly with boosters. And right now, that's what that job is. The AD's got to go out and get money. I mean, that's what he's got to do. It's about fundraising. And certainly for the short term, no one better to do that than the successful coach right now. And even though it didn't end well last year, that 5-0 start was special. I mean, it became contagious. And it's going to take a while for them to get over the hump, yes. But the issue that I have, and I'm really glad you asked me about it, has very little to do, if anything to do, with the job being done by the athletic department. Certainly the job that was done by John Hartwell, the athletic director, who got out of there. It was brought on by a Louisiana board of universities, primarily governed out of South Louisiana, that basically said, we need you guys to find $5 million. Are you kidding me? Here's what's going on. Here's what's going on. And I will say this, and I don't give a damn who down there, okay, south of Alexandria that's in education hears me. All right. They wanted, and they would like for ULM to drop to FCS or just drop football altogether. Because you don't go to a program that's spending less than anybody else in Division I college athletics and say, we need you to cut your budget by $5 million. You don't do that. You do not do that. And I think Hartwell basically just threw up his hands. And so John didn't hit as many home runs, perhaps, in terms of driving the financial wins the way they wanted, but the boosters have gotten the wake-up call. And the boosters that have given a lot of money are going to give more. So they're going to find it. Okay, they're going to find it. But the bigger issue for me, and the one that I will discuss here and any place else, is how in the hell can you make such a move and force the hand of, you just started using do you realize they just okayed student fees to be used for the first time at ULM? Who else in Division I college football at the G5 level have you ever heard of that was not utilizing student fees?
No one.
No one, Paul. No one. They were living in the dark ages. Talk about not being in the 21st century, okay, of running the business of college athletics. They were well back in the 20th century until now. But I think cooler heads will prevail. I think the people that really care about athletics at the school got the wake-up call. And Bryant Vincent is, if he had won one more game, he might have gotten a big job someplace. Really?
Yeah.
Last year. His name was up in a lot of other places. But for the time being, I think he's the right guy to be the interim AD. I'm glad that he is. And I wouldn't be shocked at all, and I'd really like to see this. I'd like to see the board at ULM take a long look at bringing Terry Bowden back to possibly being the athletic director. Because as I said, at a place like that, the AD's job is not your typical athletic director's position, not even in the Sun Belt, okay?
Yeah.
Not even in the Sun Belt. You got to have someone there that loves Monroe, loves the environment there. And by the way, Terry never left. Terry, who probably shouldn't have been fired when he was, but that's my one thing about what happens so often at schools like this. When you've got a new president every 4 years, you got a new AD every 3 years, and you got a new football coach every 3. It's like this endless cycle of lack of stabilization. There's no stability. And that's what's been going on there really since the mid-90s. It's been going on for 30 years. And you cannot get ahead, and you don't stimulate your base, the people that do have money. Why would you spend money for people that don't get it, that don't understand how to run the business, that haven't had student fees until now? It's hard to get people that are successful, that have a lot of money, to spend a lot of money when you think you're going to be pissing it away.
Yeah.
Does the school really care? So I think now we do know, on the basis of what has happened in this particular case, that the boosters, the ones that really do have an investment into the place, are going to pony up even more than they did before to defy those that were trying to, circumvent and get the program out. Those people that are involved in that in the Louisiana higher education board, they wanted ULM to get the hell out, to clear the way for Louisiana Tech. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. And they're just not going to have it. So I'm glad that they've stood up and they've been shown to be who and what they are, and fight for the good of the program. And Bryant Vincent's the right guy to do it right now. I applaud his stepping up to do that. Terry Bowden's got a law degree. Terry Bowden has been part of the first family of college football coaching for many years, knows the landscape inside and out, and his name alone can help bring funds in. Okay. And by the way, he just remarried, and he married a ULM graduate, and he's living in Monroe.
So there you go.
Why not? Why not? Yeah. I think he could be part of their future in a very positive way.
Look,
I would. Bryant. He likes Bryant. I think Bryant Vincent likes him.
Yeah. Well, he's a Bowden. So like, I mean, you know the whole family. Like I haven't, like I knew, I didn't know Coach Bowden when I was a student there. I did get some interaction with Jeff Bowden because he ran the camp, and that was at the dorm I was working at the time.
Right.
And I've met several of the family. I've never met a Bowden that you'd be like, oh, that guy. You know, they're all they're Bowdens.
They're good people. They're
Yeah.
really good people.
Yeah.
And Terry sees himself. He wanted to coach again. He wanted to get one more swing at it. And by the way, the last season he had went south because he had 4 quarterbacks that all got hurt.
Yeah.
Literally every one of them got hurt. They went and played Ole Miss in a game at the end of the year. And let me tell you something. They played Ole Miss to a standstill, but he had no quarterback. He couldn't generate any offense whatsoever. So the man's a good coach, a really good coach, but he doesn't want to do it anymore. He took his swing.
Yeah.
And now he sees himself as part of the solution and wants to be helpful to those that have, in fact, replaced him. So I hope he garners a lot of consideration from the powers that be. I do care deeply about the direction that they go. And I think with the Sunbelt acquisition of Louisiana Tech, that's only going to stimulate an old rivalry reborn, which will get the people that people have always talked. How many times have you heard this? We want to play those teams that we used to play and we pack the house and all that. But the problem has been so many people in that part of Northeast Louisiana have hearkened back to, 1987 when Stan Humphries was quarterbacking at the FCS level and they won a national championship. That's all changed. You asking a program to go FCS that's been Division I and has been making by far and away half of its budget from playing money games. Well, when you do that as an FCS school, you cut that money in half. If you're getting $1.5 million, if you go FCS like Northwestern State and Natchitoches, you're getting $400,000, $500,000. You can't live on that. No. And the cost alone to have a football program, period, doesn't change. It's about the same to run an FCS program as it is to run a D1 program at the G5 level. But the major difference is you don't get the payoff at the end. Yeah. You don't get the same kind of money. So, but again, when you've had so many people that are not involved in sports, don't understand the business landscape of it all, this is what happens. Even tech people, even people at Louisiana Tech, who, from a football standpoint, maybe felt Derek Dooley hurt them when he left to go to Tennessee. I will say this about Derek. He was a lawyer who understood the business of being Division I, and he got Louisiana Tech to a successful place. Years later, I think they're beginning to understand that at Louisiana Tech. Some of these schools, especially in rural areas that are not as populated and they live in their own sort of a world from time to time, they forget the knowledge that they don't have about what's happened to the business of college athletics over the last 30, 40 years. And that's what's happened, unfortunately, at ULM. Hopefully the timing of this could not have been worse, with Hartwell leaving, but finding out what the circumstances were of his exit, I get it. I understand it. I absolutely do. But they've got a new president now. She's invested, I'm told, in Division I, wants to be in Division I, but still the question came, and it came above her. We got to find $5 million. How do you find $5 million? If you find $5 million, you probably ought to invest it into your football program. Okay, that's where it needs to be. Okay, but to find it to just cut the budget, that just was, my God. There's an old Southern colloquialism. What are they trying to do? Squeeze blood out of a turnip?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Tim, I know that you'll do your rankings here coming up. You do a top 10.
Already.
You have already. Oh, you already done it. Okay.
My top 15's out, baby.
Okay. So I was looking for it. Yeah.
I've done it.
Okay.
All right. So I'll help you.
Yeah.
If I can find it. I'll have to help you here.
Yeah. So while you're doing that, I will tell you about so I do a segment at the end of our show every day called the Top 5. And so this week, and it'll spend into Monday, I've gone through my top 25, which honestly, if I would go back, I would have done a 15 because you get past 15, it gets challenging. But I was inspired by you and the way to look at it because after having you on this show, because it's the way they finish. It's also the way you got to look at the roster. Everybody's got Ohio State really high, and I think they should be well ranked in the defending national champ. But they have a completely different team and almost coaching staff this year. So I think that to me that means let's rank them a little bit lower and see where they are before we say they're going to just be back and do it now.
Okay.
So I did that. I tried to do as much Brando math as I could. So.
Well, we do disagree on number one because I've got Ohio State getting
okay.
I do think that they could lose. I don't think anybody's going to go undefeated this year.
Yeah.
Nobody. And by the way, that first loss for Ohio State could be the first one. Could be. Very easily. All right. You want to get my 15? I'll run through it real quick for you. Number 15, Arizona State.
Okay.
Sun Devils are still good. Real good. Even without Scattaboo, they're still good. I love what Dillingham's program is all about. They're built for the long haul, not just a short-term blip on the radar screen. And Levitt's back, and I think he's a special talent. 14, this shook up the state of Alabama a little bit. Crimson Tide at 14. They're going to lose at least 3 times. Ty Simpson is, in my opinion, not the answer. And even with Grubb coming in, which I think long-term is going to help. The offensive coordinator, Grubb, finally rejoining Kalen DeBoer. I just think the schedule is tough on Bama. I do. So I think they will wind up at 14 because they lose 3 times. Okay. This isn't a preseason starting grid. This is where I think they're going to wind up. At 13, Boise State. Still the class, in my opinion, of the Mountain West. And even with Genty gone, they've got a stud that's been waiting in the wings at quarterback. And, of course, Spencer's been outstanding at his craft. I like this team on the blue and even on the road from time to time in the Mountain West. This is a program built for the long haul, always has been. My sleeper team out of the SEC, and this means 12 through 1 are in my college football playoff, is Oklahoma. John Mateer is going to be to the Sooners what Cam Ward was to Miami last year.
I agree with you.
And Arbuckle, as the OC coming over right away with his QB, is going to be a difference maker. I think they can beat Texas in the Red River rivalry. I do. At number 11, and this is another sleeper story, they are my group of 5 team, and it's going to be with yet another big-time transfer quarterback. And by the way, had he stayed where he was, I would have picked his team to win the Big 12. I'm talking about Jed Retzlaff of BYU, now at Tulane. Summerall is a hell of a coach. Tulane is going to go into Oxford and beat Ole Miss in mid-September, and that will catch everyone's attention. Green Wave will roll on and win, in my opinion, their way into the college football playoff. Number 10, the Fighting Illini of Illinois. Key here will be Luke Oltmeyer's health. He's got to stay healthy. And they have to beat Indiana, which, in my opinion, is the game of games that no one's talking about in the Big Ten. If they lose, Paul, that game to Indiana, we can just X out Illinois and put in the Hoosiers. Because Indiana's not bad either. They're just outside my top 15. Signetti's still got a very good team, and I love the QBs brought in.
I think it's an upgrade. Francisco Mendoza.
Francisco Mendoza is a big-time upgrade.
Did you do Cal last year at all?
No, but I saw him.
Yeah.
I certainly saw that Oregon game, which they should have won.
Yeah.
So, yes, they're really good. 9, speaking of, the Ducks of Oregon. I think they slip a little bit this year. Lanning's program is still on solid footing, yes. But the league is really hard, and they've got some tough road games. Oregon gets in the playoff. I don't think they last as long. And, of course, last year they didn't last very long either, even with the bye. At number 8, and I do think this team is poised to reclaim a berth in the Big 12 championship, this time winning it with an experienced and seasoned quarterback that is under everyone's radar always, Rocco Becht. Iowa State can get it done. Now, if they don't get it done, we'll do the same thing with them that we did with Illinois and pencil in Indiana. If Farmageddon goes K-State's way, just slash out Iowa State, put in Kansas State.
Yeah.
Because Avery Johnson will have finally gotten rid of the turnover blues. Because that's been the issue. Why do I like Iowa State to beat K-State in Ireland? Because one guy protects the ball and the other guy doesn't.
Yeah.
Now, Avery Johnson's more dynamic than Rocco, but Rocco's also a gamer. When he has to make plays, he makes plays.
Hey, there's nothing better in college football than a Rocco Beck fourth quarter. One of the best things. Yeah.
Just ask Gus Malzahn.
Yeah.
All right. He'll tell you. And so after Iowa State at 8, Bulldogs of Georgia at 7. Georgia's schedule and the loss of Carson Beck, in my opinion, is problematic. I just don't think that they improved at that mission critical position. Oh, you could say Beck, how great really was he? And could Gunnar Stockton be the next version of a walk-up? He might be. I may be wrong, but there's way too many questions that I have about that offense with him at the controls. I do think they're better than Alabama, but that's not good enough. The other team that I don't think is going to do as well as predicted this year is Penn State. Why? I'm just not sold on Drew Aller. I've got them number 6. Nittany Lions, I had poised to get a lot of things done last year, a lot of things. And even with Andy Kotelnicki, who I love as an offensive coordinator, and now with the addition of Knowles as the defensive coordinator with Tom Allen gone over to Clemson as its defensive coordinator, I just think Aller – people talk about James Franklin not winning big ones. How about Drew Aller taking some of the heat for that? What has he done? And here's a little scoop for you. Do you realize that for the last 2 years, Paul Catalina, that with offers to come to the Manning Passing Academy, he stiffed them twice?
Really?
Twice. Yes. Did not come to the Manning Passing Academy and was very cordial to them. I wish I could make it, but I've just got to stay here. Really need to work with my Tell me, how much knowledge and intellectual property does a quarterback of that ilk miss by not going to the Manning Passing Academy?
Just talking to the guys at Big 12 Media Days, like Sawyer Robertson, Jalen Daniels, like all those guys that went, it's like the best weekend of their lives. They could not stop talking about it.
Yeah.
They could not stop talking about it. So
there's a level in my mind. Okay, I'm gonna say it. There's a level of hubris that I have to associate with a guy that just thinks he doesn't have time for the Manning family and that passing academy for 2 years running. I'm like, really? Okay, your world in that tunnel of Happy Valley is what you need to be in nonstop? I don't know. I've got problems with that. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons I've got them at 6. The Longhorns of Texas, I've got at 5. Now, can they beat Ohio State to open the season? Yeah, they could. And if so, I may well be wrong. But I think the issue for the Longhorns may well be that ultimately the pressure cooker and the big games they have to play means there are slip-ups here and there. And keeping Arch Manning healthy is also big, real big. And because he likes to run the ball, and I think Sark is going to work really hard to make sure that he's mindful of the fact that he's got to be careful when running it, when tucking it and running it. I think that was one of the reasons why he kept him out of the game against Ohio State last year. You know, everyone wanted him to come in. And you can make a case, by the way, had Sark done that, pulled Quinn Ewers, maybe it would have worked, maybe not. But Sark was sold on the fact that he was going to be in the corner of Quinn Ewers all season long because it's Arch's show from this point forward. I just think Arch Manning, while he is the story of stories, the number one storyline to college football this year is that kid. Everything that the yarn that will be spun in college football storylines this year all begins with the aftermath of the Texas-Ohio State game.
Yeah.
What Archie does or doesn't do in that game will dictate much of the conversation throughout the sport all year long, coming from game number 1. And I just think against the schedule There could be a slip up here or there. And then when the SEC lights are shining brightly, maybe it's that team that's not as highly thought of that gets the better of them. Yeah. So that's why I've got Texas in the 5-hole. Could win the SEC title, but we've seen up now that winning conference championships is not tantamount to winning the national championship.
Yeah.
In the number 4 hole, Fighting Tigers of LSU. It's Brian Kelly's year. Got to get it done. It's get to the playoff or bust. And Garrett Nussmeier is the best returning quarterback in the SEC. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback returning in the country, but he is the best returning quarterback in the Southeastern Conference. I think that bodes well for them long term. And oh, by the way, that other big game in college football, arguably bigger really than Ohio State and Texas, because many will think that there's more at stake between Clemson and LSU. I'm not so sure that's true, but many are going to think that, largely because Brian Kelly is on the hot seat to get to the playoff, and Dabo Swinney just got off the hot seat because he finally went to the portal.
Yeah.
but I do think LSU is really good and are the cream of the crop in the Southeastern Conference. Number 3 is Notre Dame. You tell me who got more out of this.
We agreed on that one. Say 3.
Who got the most? Who got the most out of last year's playoff that didn't win the title? No doubt, Freeman and Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. And the Irish, again, tough schedule. Got some tough people coming to see them too. But I think that they are battle tested. And oh, by the way, love is lovely. And they got you got some big time backs that can help you with a young quarterback. And if Riley Leonard were there, I'm not sure if Riley had come back, if he could have played another year, I might have picked them to win the whole thing. I like the Irish a lot. Number 2, the Clemson Tigers. Mm-hmm. Dabo Swinney. He's got the kind of offensive line and defensive line that he had with Deshaun Watson and those teams that beat Alabama in 2 out of 3 opportunities for a national championship. And with Klubnik, I think you've got the best returning quarterback in the country. Without a doubt. He's the best returning quarterback in the country.
Here's another thing I think about Clemson, and I saw it last year a little bit, and I think the only thing that derailed them was that they were playing guys that were too young at key positions.
Yeah, right.
And that's where that 4 or 5 guys in the portal helps you out, where you have some veterans in there. But year 1 of Garrett Riley, he was kind of making Garrett Riley run Dabo Swinney's offense. Mm-hmm. And then last year he let Garrett Riley run Garrett Riley's offense, and it looked a lot different.
Yep, no doubt about it. And number 1, I'm taking the Buckeyes. And I think the reason that I am primarily is because of the culture that Ryan Day has set. And now there is a willingness for the players to understand that this program is built for playoff success, okay, that we get better and we improve and we're playing our best football when you get to the college football playoff. Now, look, the fans will never get over the losses to Michigan. They'll never get over that.
Well, there's a small subset of them that they did not, the national championship didn't cure that.
Didn't matter to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the ones that are stuck in the big time version of what I said the problem at ULM is in the 20th century, where the Rose Bowl is still all there is in life, not the national championship and the college football playoff. They need to catch up with the times.
Yeah.
But I think that I love, from an offensive standpoint, what Hartline can do. I think it is a natural flow, a natural fit for him to go in where Chip was. And I think they have supplanted the loss of Knowles with Matt Patricia as best as you possibly can. Patricia's an old guard, 4-3 guy from a defensive standpoint that will pressure. I had the good opportunities of doing a few NFL games for Fox when he was running Belichick's D, and he is legit and is the right guy at the right time for that program. And again, they could lose multiple games. Get ready, because Ohio State's the first team to win a national championship in the 12-team format with 2 L's. And guess what? They could have another one.
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen. It absolutely. You think about, 2 losses to win a national championship is not going to be uncommon moving forward. Mm-hmm. Not now, and certainly not when we go to 16 in 2026.
Well, I can't wait until we get a 9-3 champ and 16 and the world melts down. Because it'll happen. It will happen eventually. Like a 9-3 team that had a really tough schedule and lost 3 tough games is going to get hot in December and win the playoff.
Yeah.
And then
and 9-3 turns into 12-3.
Yeah.
And the modern day college football fan will be fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay. The old fossils, my age and older, I can't believe that. But I've told people many times over, more football and more great football is great for the game.
Yeah.
So you just have to channel yourself into that direction moving forward.
Yeah. All right, Garrett, we have a super chat to Tim. There's not one person listening or in the chat that wouldn't feel the same way if their school is in the same position as Brando's ULM. Yeah. Not one. Yeah, no, I like look, I mean, I think everybody, like I can tell you, like watching Florida State do what they've done the last couple of years, which is not about a lack of money. It's about like, is the greed worth it? Like, are you like, that's my thing with my school is like, is all this like trying to get in this other league and upset the apple cart? Is it worth it? Or do you look at where you are and then be a part of the solution and not just leave? Like
I just think the fans and the locals that have the money, especially the boosters that have the money, have to understand that all that money, if spent in the wrong places, that's fool's errand. Okay, It is. I tell you, the boys that got it right, them oil barons in upscale Dallas, Texas, they got it right. Hey, we got the money. You can tell those boys out in Berkeley and those other boys, we'll give them our share. Yeah. We don't need your stinking money. We just want the opportunity to be in the ACC.
Yeah,
those boys out at Palo Alto and Berkeley, they can take our cash. We don't care. We're SMU. We just want the opportunity. And you saw what they did.
Yeah,
you saw what Rhett Lashley did with that. And by the way, that's another team I just left out. Jennings is back.
Yeah,
that's
I love
a dangerous team. That's a dangerous team again. And God bless those folks at SMU. They waited for decades to finally get what they wanted, found someone to do it. And of course, Memphis tried to do the same thing and got shut down, but I don't blame them. You know, if you're going to spend that kind of money, get what's best for your program out of it. Otherwise, don't go there. Don't spend it because you're just wasting it. You're just throwing it away. Yeah. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, I think if Memphis had called them 2 years ago, we're talking about Memphis in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think they couldn't get it done fast enough, and then here they are, and they're like this. If I'm the ACC, I might call Memphis and say, like, what's the offer? But who knows? I mean, who knows?
Well, I think, the ACC is feeling a little bit better about itself, not only because of Clemson's positioning, but also Miami's. A lot of people are upset with me for not picking Miami to be in my top 15, but I just think I need more time. I'm not Carson Beck. I was never that terribly impressed with him. I don't think he does for them what Cam Ward did. They let a game get away that they shouldn't have lost, or they would have gotten what they needed out of it. Can Cristobal rebound from that? He could. I mean, God knows he's a great recruiter. And if I'm wrong about Miami, again, they'd be in my top 20, but they're not in my top 15. But if the ACC's smart, again, they'll start thinking more globally than just about what's right in front of them. I think that's what Brett Yormark has done, and it's the reason why the Big 12 is on such solid footing right now.
Yeah, I agree with you about Miami. I think about last year, Cal and Virginia Tech were kind of miracles for them, and miracles because Cam Ward is that kind of quarterback. Carson Beck's just like, he's fine, but Cam Ward's like, he's the kind of guy that like when it all breaks down, it's not really broken down. And I don't think that's Carson Beck.
Yeah, the fact that Kirby Smart thought that they could get by with Garner Stockton over Carson Beck tells me he thinks that Carson Beck wasn't all that.
Yeah,
that's what it tells me.
Yeah,
so, and I don't think Kirby just suddenly fell off a turnip truck. I think he knows a little thing. He knows a thing or two about college football.
Yeah, I mean he's only been a year without a national championship, so it's been so long.
Indeed.
Tim, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon, of course. Enjoyed all the time you give us every time. And I'm going to send you my top 15, and you can tell me why I'm wrong. I left Illinois out completely, and now I'm starting to feel dumb about it.
Okay, I forgive you for not knowing about my top 15, but you know what? Next year I'll embargo it and make sure that Jake Crane and Crane and Company and those guys don't get a full week's heads up on you. So we get it on the same day. Okay?
Good deal. All right. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
Take care, pal. Give my best to the Smokies.
Okay? All right, we'll do. Tim Brando, Fox Sports with us, and always awesome to talk to Tim. And, when you're flying solo, having a guest like Tim is a miracle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's great. I love it. That was a lot of stuff we went over there.
I thought I was interested in the Bowden going back to UL.
Oh, yeah,
that is
yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah, look, and he said he's from the first family of college football.
Exactly.
He's a Bowden.
Yeah.
Like just naturally, just in his genes, is one of the greatest college football minds
Ever.
and human beings that has walked the face of this earth.
Yep.
I hate that the interview I did with Bobby Bowden when he released his final book is on a computer that probably doesn't exist anymore.
No.
At the radio station.
You didn't keep a copy?
I mean, it was always on our FTP site. That was my backup.
Yeah.
And then when we left there, I didn't think about all that stuff until months later.
Yeah, then it hit you.
And I was like, oh man, it was a 30-minute, you remember it.
Yeah.
It's like a 30-minute interview I did with him. And he was so great. And he treated me like he knew me, which I mean, like
I feel like he treated everybody like he knew him.
But I've met him, but he doesn't remember me. Like
Right.
I've met him maybe 20 times in my life as a student or after at things where I went. He came here one time and spoke, and I went and met him, and we talked for like 5 minutes there. But I don't think he remember. I mean, like it would not be. I mean, he met 100 people that day, or whatever. I told him, I said, I just want to say this to you. I said, I know that this is not journalistically what you're supposed to do, but I was at FSU from 98 to 2002. And because of you, my college experience was so much more than I could have ever imagined. And so I said, I think sometimes fans get into the weeds of, man, that was like, they don't realize it until it's too late or it's over about like, oh, I want it to be this way, or this season wasn't as good, or that wasn't as good, or this, or blah, blah, blah. I have no complaints.
You should.
I have no complaints. Like I have one, Chris Riggs, but like that's everybody makes
everybody
mistakes.
gets a mulligan.
But like again, like I have no complaints about. He's like, well, you should. We're in the dadgum championship every year. Your first 3 years. I said, yes, I know that
he is.
Yeah, so I will cherish that memory till the day that I die. Amanda can tell you when I woke up and saw the text or the tweet that Bobby had passed away, and we all knew it was kind of coming.
Yeah.
There were two celebrities that I have cried when they passed away. One of them was Bobby Bowden, and the other one was Jimmy Buffett. Look, that's how much of a Floridian I still am. When Buffett passed away, and no one knew. Like, it was just like I woke up in the morning and I got on Twitter and Jimmy Buffett's dead and nothing makes sense to me anymore.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That's the worst is when you get on, like, and you just find out on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, like, it did. Like, I wish I, like, if I
didn't cry for Burt Reynolds?
What?
You didn't cry on Burt Reynolds? You thought about it, though,
No,
didn't you?
I might have. Now that I think about it, maybe I blocked out one out of my memory. Like I am probably now a Texan because I've been here for 20 years. But like my Florida roots are deep. Like I was there. I lived in 3 different parts of the state. So like Burt Reynolds, Florida's greatest actor. I
don't know actors, but I would definitely agree.
Like
with that.
I'm going to look up actors from the state of Florida, and like somebody like Oscar Isaac, who's a great actor right now. I watch everything he's in. He's from Florida. He would probably tell that said, "All right, who's the second greatest actor from Florida?" He would
be
start. It would be him. I mean, he's great. There's others, obviously, but I mean, it's Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, and I think I probably will. Like, I know there's a few that will make me shed a tear when they go. But Jimmy Buffett, like I saw him in concert like 10, 12 times. A Jimmy Buffett show is a cultural event.
Right.
It was unbelievable. And if you never got to go to one, I'm sorry, because you missed out on the best people watching that exists.
Is
in
Jimmy
the world.
Buffett to Floridians what like the Grateful Dead is to the Bay Area people, like the Deadhead type thing,
or George Strait is to Texas,
like a cult type of
like.
following?
Well, I mean, it's just like he's the music of the state,
right?
Like that. That's what, like, if I was ever a governor of Florida, I would be like, the official music of Florida is Jimmy Buffett,
right?
You know, he is the soundtrack to living in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Just like George Strait or Asleep at the Wheel or Willie Nelson is to Texas,
right?
Jimmy Buffett is to Florida. You know, I mean, depending on what what your favorite your genre is, but like I do think that for Florida in particular, and they have, I mean, all kind of like Tom Petty's from Gainesville, which is the worst thing about him. But all of that, like I think about that a lot. Of like the soundtrack to a state,
right?
You know, like Billy Joel is New York to me. Bruce Springsteen's New Jersey, like that's the soundtrack of New Jersey. Philly is Bon Jovi, right? Like that's when I think of that's the soundtrack of that city where it comes from. Mm-hmm. Chicago and New Orleans are almost too tough to pick, but you get it, you get like that, and at least from that, like. Everybody has like, again, we could pick genres of cities, but like Grateful Dead in the Bay Area. Yes. Like that's the thing. And Deadheads, Parrot Heads kind of overlap a little bit. Right. And I remember being so sad, and it wasn't like, I didn't know him, but it was like all this, like now I'm never going to go see that, have that fun that I did all that time.
It's like a chapter of your life that just got closed.
It's over. Yeah. And like, remember talking to Amanda about it, like, hey, when he comes and tour this year, we'll go because you've never been. I can't wait for you to see it. It's so much fun. And we'll go stay up in the city, and that way we can drink 1 million margaritas and have 10 cheeseburgers and paradises and all these things. And that one hit me like a ton of bricks. It really did. And a man like, your like wife will laugh at you when like something emotional, and she was just laughing. She's like, man, I knew that you were a fan. I'm like, yeah, it just sucks, and I know this, like, I know how she's going to react.
I was going to say, she's like Bill Self about one medical scare away.
I know. I mean, when that happened a couple weeks ago,
I know. I immediately saw that. I was like, Paul is living a nightmare right now.
I've got a text like, hey, are we okay? All right. I mean, he's okay. He got stents put in. He's fine.
It's going to be okay.
He's fine. He's going to be okay. But the thing about that is I know that a day is coming in 2026 or 2027, no later after that, where Bill Self has a press conference right there in the center of the fog and says, I'm confident in Jacques Vaughn as my replacement and all these things. And this is great. You can never equal this. And then he moves to Florida and listens to Jimmy Buffett all day because he's got a big house in Florida. It's going to happen soon, and I'm going to have not only a wife but a brother-in-law that I'm probably going to need to be in the same place with them, like at the same time, where we just all sit down as a family and work through our feelings.
Just start rocking in a corner.
Make sure that everybody has their favorite foods, and like later on you can watch your comfort movie. Which mine strangely is A Few Good Men.
That is comfort.
It is. It's an awesome movie. You can't tell me that like you don't find comfort in justice.
Yeah.
That's where I find comfort.
That's where you find comfort.
Yeah. No, I mean, the other day I was just killing time before I had to go pick Amanda up at the airport. And so I didn't want to start anything new.
So you just throw it on?
So I threw A Few Good Men on. And then I found myself like walking around as I was cleaning up. Like we live in a society that has walls, and those walls are guarded by men with guns. Just reciting it like I was listening to an album. Like, no.
Oh my God.
You gotta extend me some effing courtesy. Like very quotable movie. When we come back, Madden QB ratings or video game ratings in general, and why they are possibly the number one motivator for athletes now. This is 365 Sports.
At Sturdy Steel, we build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide, we're proud of our reputation for dependable, high-quality work and strong client relationships that stand the test of time. From concept to installation, our team of skilled drafters, welders, and installers takes pride in delivering seating solutions designed to last. With a focus on dependability, transparency, and service, we are here to make the unique needs of architects, contractors, schools, and venues across the country. We ensure every project is seamless, sturdy, and ready for generations of fans to enjoy. That's Sturdy Steel.
Automatic Chef is your local vending, office coffee, and micro market provider, delivering outstanding service to break rooms all over Central Texas for over 50 years. Automatic Chef brings the best products to your location at the best prices. With hundreds of choices in fresh food, coffee, snacks, and drinks, let Automatic Chef tailor a break room solution to your needs. Make break time great again with Automatic Chef. Automatic Chef Canteen, 6900 Imperial Drive in Waco, or online at automaticchef.com.
Baylor alumni are more than 160,000 strong. When we all join hands to support our university, we don't just move the needle, we move mountains. Working together, we create life-changing opportunities for students on the field, in the classroom, in the laboratory, and in life for generations to come. So get connected, get involved. Learn how at baylor.edu/alumni.
There are 26 letters in the alphabet, over 600,000 words in the dictionary, and just 3 of them said together can change everything. Let's order pizza. Those 3 words lead to dough made from scratch and 3 fresh signature cheeses that blanket golden crust in a heavenly melt on Marco's Pizza that'll blow your mind. So visit marcos.com to order and stop by Marco's Pizza in Belmead, China Spring, Woodway, and in Robinson. Marco's. Pizza lovers get it.
Penny Clinic Men's Healthcare in Woodway is now proud to offer you men an exceptional weight management body sculpting product called semaglutide, also known as Ozempic or Wegovy. Semaglutide is an FDA-approved weight management medication. Once-a-week injections of this powerful medication offers an average body fat weight loss of 20% within the first year of treatment. In addition to body sculpting, semaglutide also normalizes blood sugars and has the clinical research proof of reducing blood pressure, cholesterol, stroke, and heart attack risk. If you're like most men and you have stubborn fat that will just not respond to typical diets and exercise, then help is finally here. Semaglutide, affordable, highly effective. Google search Penny Clinic Waco and reach out to the Penny Clinic team today for a free consultation with Dr. Petty to see if semaglutide is right for you. Go to pennycliniclowt.com.
This is 365 Sports. Enjoying the show? Hit the like button and subscribe.
Welcome back. I'm Paul Catalina alongside Garrett Ross. The Smokes are both off today. Tomorrow, the one and only Faith Lynch will join Garrett and I co-hosting the show. We had a company meeting today to go over some of our new procedures and some things. We are, I'll just tell you, like, if you really like this setup right here, enjoy it while it lasts, because we actually now do have a pretty
plan.
A plan. Like, there's a remodeling plan in place now, it looks like.
Yeah, it's in motion.
It's in motion. It's actually in motion and not in theory anymore. So that could go pretty quickly. And so I'm hoping it does keep to the calendar we were given, because that would be
awesome.
It would be amazing. Except for the fact of us trying to figure out how to do everything in the new thing. But
we'll figure that out.
Still awesome.
Minor details.
Yeah. Again, minor details. So earlier in the show, you heard us talking about, if you were with us for the segment, like teasing this one. So Patrick Mahomes is not a 99 in Madden 2026.
Correct.
He's not only not a 99, he is the 4th rated quarterback in Madden overall, behind Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. Those are three guys. Some of Burrow kind of has his number a little bit when they played healthy head-to-head.
I don't know. Like, I'm the biggest Joe Burrow fan in the world. He is not better than Patrick Mahomes in any damn fashion.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
And look at the drop-off between him and number 5, Matthew
It's ridiculous.
Stafford. That's a lot there. And, look at Dak, not in the top. Was that 10? Is that the top 10? Yeah.
Is Dak in there? Dak's
no,
not
Dak's
in there.
not. Look,
He's
that's
not
what I
in
said.
there.
Dak's not in there.
But you know who is? Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is 2 LSU guys in there, 2 Oklahoma guys in there. Yeah. So a Georgia guy in there, a Cal guy, a Oregon guy, and a Wyoming guy, and a Louisville guy. So, and a Tech guy, of course. So here's what, as a fan of a team that's not the Chiefs, I don't need Patrick Mahomes to have any new motivation to prove people that he's the best quarterback. What, like, okay, and I get it. Like, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson both run faster than him.
They do.
Okay. So I'm not saying that they're not 99s. I would, like, again, anybody in this top 4 for sure, I would take on, and I like Dak Prescott. I would take over Dak Prescott. And most of the guys in the top 10, I would be comfortable interchanging. Even though I do like Dak. I don't think Dak is the major problem with the Cowboys. And I've said that for many years. There are a lot of Romo-sexuals out there that feel like he hasn't lived up to the lofty standard of one playoff win.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I'd take Dak over Romo every day of the week.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think they're the same. Like, their stats
They're
are
about
like,
the same. Yeah.
They're the same. So, like, I'm not trying to crap on Romo. I'm just trying to live in reality. Like it is. Brandon is the other Cowboy fan in the room. Brandon,
he's a Romo-sexual.
Brandon, are you a Romo-sexual?
He's a Romo-sexual.
Yeah. See, it's unfortunate. Here's the thing. Those of us who grew up in the Troy Aikman era know what a quarterback's supposed to be. Yeah. So I grew up in the Aikman era where things made sense and life was good. Water tasted better. The air was cleaner. And that just could have been 30 years of the planet aging,
Probably.
But even still, I'm just saying that.
I don't think the water tastes better in Waco.
No, it's always bad. It's always bad. We can't just get one.
Terrible.
Why can't we just get one big damn Brita filter and put it at the water treatment plant?
We got to do something.
And then just like every month, you unscrew the big Brita filter and put the other one in. How does that technology exist small but not big? It's like the inverse of space.
Exactly.
You know, when they the reason we have microwaves and a lot of stuff we have now is because they went to the moon and all these things. And so they figured that out to make everything smaller, and then it spurred on technological industries in the United States. Yeah. So you make it smaller. How come we haven't gotten the reverse of, hey, Brita's got this thing figured out? The water softener companies have this thing figured out. Why can't we just put a big water softener on it?
Because you need people to get sick, Paul. We have to go to the doctor. We got to keep feeding the medical industry.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that again, President Catalina has a good idea of we just make one really big Brita filter for every city and then they change it out every month.
I'm down. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. I don't understand how you can't put that on your water. Why? Like our water, and I'll tell you, if you've been to Waco, if you live in Waco, the water here it's got this very weird taste to it.
I've always heard, and I could be totally wrong, and this is just probably ignorant stuff I was told growing up, but I've always heard it was from, the water is just bad. The river is bad in general, but all of the dairy farms and stuff in Stephenville and everything kind of flowing down from the cow crap and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I've been heard.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, but anyway, to get back to this, that tangent brought to you by Batteries Plus. Thanks to our new sponsor, Batteries Plus. Sometimes I go on a tangent when I'm here alone because no one's here to stop me. And that's what happens. Garrett, here's the other thing.
I appreciate a tangent.
Garrett is kind of addicted to my tangents. He enjoys them. And so that's a problem because he's an enabler.
Yes.
So I like a good tangent. It's my heroin, and Garrett is my dealer.
Ooh.
He is and every time hey, maybe we need to separate Paul from Garrett. It's like, no, I gotta
dial it up.
I gotta get it in here. Give me a spoon and a lighter and watch out. And watch out. So, but look, I would take Josh Allen. Like, I don't think I'm with you. I think Joe Burrow is properly rated. I think that they should at least have flipped the two of them.
There's no way Patrick Mahomes shouldn't be above everybody on this list. I understand that Josh Allen is a better, I wouldn't even necessarily say he's a better runner. He's a more durable. Like I feel more comfortable about Josh Allen taking off and running and being sustained.
Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are faster than him.
They are.
They're faster.
That's about it.
That's what it is. But like in the end, like and both those guys are great, and I hope they both win Super Bowls. I really do. I really want it for Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. I really want it for Josh Allen. I really want it for Joe Burrow. I'm going to enjoy other people winning the Super Bowl that are not Jaden Daniels or Jackson Dart or Jalen Hurts, who's already done it. He doesn't have to do it again. Mm-hmm. That are in the Cowboys division. Mm-hmm. Like, as long as it's not the people that and even then, if Washington won one, I think
you'd have to have a sympathy.
I think you guys have kind of earned that.
We've earned that misery.
Yeah. I like the crazy owner of my team actually cares. Is where the crazy owner he does.
Does he?
He does in his own weird, perverse way. He cares. Like, he's very passionate about it. He has a lot of misdirected emotions. Right?
Right.
Yeah. As where, Daniel Snyder has emotions. They're just all the bad ones.
Yes, they're
like every bad emotion you could have. He has it more than anybody. Like, he's
the one guy that they were going to make a transition from sports to politics. I was surprised it wasn't him. As just
he couldn't get elected anywhere that he's ever been because he ruined the sports team. Like, that's look. Like, Tom Osborne ran for Senate in Nebraska because he was Tom Osborne.
Yeah.
But if Bill Callahan ran, he'd drop out after the first debate because the question would be like, "Hey, why are you awful?"
Yeah.
What do you mean? I didn't even get this isn't about my health care. No. Why are you awful? I have a good plan to pump money into education. Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're awful. Yeah, that's just why the people would have been there. So, but yeah, Daniel Snyder is the guy in the movie who's going to close the rec center. like doesn't care. And even at the end of the movie, when they defeat him by whatever, raising the money to keep the rec center, he's still he doesn't even have the heartwarming, well, I guess I was wrong.
Right.
He's still there's going to be a sequel where he's no, I'm going to tear down the rec center now and their parents' houses. He's the dude from the Goonies who wants to pave over, to bulldoze the Goondocks.
Yes.
That's him. That's Dan Snyder. No redeeming qualities at all.
Human.
This second tangent also brought to you by Batteries Plus. Batteries Plus, our new sponsor. So,
are you surprised no other quarterback on this list was even in the 90s, or is there a quarterback that's not in the top 10 that you're surprised missed that?
No, I'm a little surprised. I had a discussion with a friend of mine about Baker Mayfield and Dak.
I love Baker Mayfield.
I love Baker Mayfield. I think, I love Baker. I'm not surprised. Who else would really be in the 90s on this list? I think Jalen Hurts is too low.
He's definitely too low.
I would put him fifth right now. I would put him fifth.
He should be fifth. I think I would definitely want him leading my team. I know this is gay, but if you get down to it, I'd rather have him leading my team than any of those other ones.
Yeah, he to me, the guy's a winner.
Yeah,
he's been in the last two Super Bowls. He's won one. He's been in Super Bowls. He's won one. They had a really bad season after they lost the Super Bowl, and then he came back and went. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Right? He's been in two of the last three. He's played in NFC Championship games. He's a tough guy winner. He's super athletic. So I don't know. I feel he gets a little bit disrespected.
He does.
A little bit disrespected. And I'm saying that about a Philadelphia Eagle, which is hard for me. But Patrick Mahomes is going to use this as motivation.
He is.
And the rest of the league doesn't need that.
No.
And especially guys from this generation of quarterbacks grew up with video games and everything. And I don't I get it. Like nobody will put me in a video game and give me a rating. There's never going to be the podcast video game where like, oh man, I'm going to do Catalina in mine. Like, yeah, you guys can have Josh Pate, but I'm going to take Catalina, underrated. The tangents really put it over the top. He's got a 99 tangent rating.
Does have a 99
tangent rating. But this motivates him. And I have heard from many players that if you ask them about like, what do you think about your rating in the video game, where it's college or NFL, or they're like, no, it's too low.
Mm-hmm.
It's too low. And the only way it can't be too low is if it's 99.
Right.
And I think some guys know that they're not 99s, but they don't want to be like what they are.
You're so competitive. You're not going to admit that you're not as good as you believe in yourself to be.
The biggest thing I think is the speed rating too.
Yeah.
Like there are some guys that like they gave him like an 88 speed. And they're like,
bro, I'm faster than that.
No. That drives them nuts.
Yes.
Nuts. It is. Yeah. No. And like anything, like I said before, if you missed the first segment, anything that you can do to make yourself motivated, whether it's real or not, in sports, it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Jumping over the lines in baseball, it's real.
Right.
Like, look, wearing that shirt, like the pregame routine, like I have to do this. Wade Boggs and his chicken, all of those things that you have, it's real. So I think this is the new, like, have to eat chicken before the game, or every Wednesday we have watermelon because watermelon and Wednesday both start with a W, and so does win. So on Wednesday, we'll win on Wednesdays if we eat foods that begin with W's, like beef Wellington and watermelon and, watercress and wings and Wendy. I don't know how many teams are going to win. Like, hey, listen, we're going to go full out at Wendy's. Full out, get whatever you want. Everybody,
wired up on Frosties.
3 patty, big bacon classic, large fry, Frosties, and that. Do they still have the chili at Wendy's?
They do. I think they still have the cup of chili.
Yeah, it's in a cup of chili, and then we're gonna go out and we're gonna beat Texas. We had Wendy's. So like those superstitions, they're real to the person who's in the moment, and the minute you let yourself realize that it's not real is the minute you lose the routine.
Competitive edge, too.
Yeah, you lose it. So everybody lies to themselves to get through the day in some way or shape or form, at least a little bit. Even if it's something that's like, look, I'm sure this is not going to be as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, how many times have you gone to like, the dentist or like a meeting?
Hell, for me, it's like if I have to go be around people.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure this is not going to be as bad as I thought it was going to be. I try to tell myself that a lot when I go to things that I don't necessarily want to go to. And then most of the time it works out better. And then sometimes it's worse.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's worse. But that's the superstition. That's how you have to get through things. And I think superstition is a massive part of sports.
No, it really
massive part of sports that is necessary.
Did you ever have a superstition?
Nothing that I quite remember. Like I remember I used to put my uniform. I had a process.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had a different thing. Like, I would put my shirt on my pads before I put it on. I would make sure I would have my shoes on before I put my shoulder pad, like all these things. Like it's like pants, socks, cleats,
you went bottom up,
undershirt, shoulder, like eventually shoulder pads. Like the shoulder pads was the second to last thing I put on before my helmet. In baseball, my thing was always, I would tap my cleats. Like I'd tap my cleats before I walked out of the batter's box. And it was just, to me, it was always like tap, tap. Okay. I know it's my turn. Right. But yeah, I didn't have, did you ever have any?
Not really.
Yeah.
I never really had any superstitions.
I did, and like, I remember when I was a kid, that, we're talking about with Sam Kahn earlier.
Yeah.
The 94 A&M season, they were undefeated, or the season before they were undefeated. And they lost to Notre Dame in the Cotton Bowl. And I wore the same like Saturday, like it was either Friday or Saturday, and wore the same thing every day that they played. So it was like these white A&M shorts that my dad got me, and an A&M, the same A&M shirt, of which, as a little Aggie child, I had a ton of them, right? So I wore that same thing. When the Cowboys won the Super Bowl the very next year when they won it, I applied that same logic to my Cowboys shirt on Sunday. I had the same one I wore every single Sunday. And then I wore it again the next year and they lost the game. And I was like, well, I guess this one's dead.
Throwing in the trash.
You had a good, this is an outside shirt now, right?
Yeah.
Like this is, when my dad asked me to come paint something or, pick up leaves, that's the shirt it's going to be. It had a great run, but it's everyday use is over. I had those things as a kid. And then I also like very much believed for a very long time in the the announcer jinx or the fan jinx. Florida State was playing Notre Dame in Tallahassee my senior year, a game that we had looked forward to like from the day we got we can't wait for Notre Dame to come down here. And this is why I'll harken back to Chris Ricks here for a second. Chris Ricks was the quarterback. And my friend Ryan, who I think you guys have seen on the show because he's my friend that lives in Orlando.
Yeah.
When we went down there. So Ryan turns to me and says, hey, there hasn't been a turnover yet. And as the words floated out of his stupid face,
Chris Ricks?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if it was like a pick six or a fumble return for a touchdown. And I was like, this is your fault.
Absolutely was.
This is his fault. And I hope he sees this segment today and knows I'm talking about. So superstition can be very real. But then after that, I realized really it's not, I'm not like nobody's magic. There's no voodoo or whatever. But I think superstitions are important because I think superstition puts the guys in the routine that they need to be. The headspace they don't. If they can do it without a superstition, great. But if they need one, I'm fine with it. As long as it's not like super weird.
Right.
But it's not sacrificing a live chicken like in Major League. But if it helps you get in that routine, that mind space where you're clear headed going into the event. Look, for comedy, I never eat before I go on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. I never have. I might have one drink.
Mm-hmm.
But I never do because I get so keyed up and excited doing it that I don't want my stomach to throw off my rhythm. And then I'm like, I've got it like, you know what?
Bolt.
Yeah. They're like in the middle, like, hey, you know what? Thanks. It's been great. Try the fish. Tip your waitress. Bow, I'm gone. So I've never, and it's not a superstition. It's just part of the routine. Depending on where I am and who I'm working with, sometimes you can't do your pre-show routine with comedy because they just don't get it. So I've had to deal with the fact that okay, I don't get to do the thing where I sit alone in a green room and go through it. This person really wants to talk to me. They're the one who's paying me to do the show. I mean, I'm fine.
Right.
But there was a time when I was younger where I had to do everything the same way before I did because it was part of the routine. Now I'm to the point where I can go up and do what I want to do. And I'm not in my head about it so much. So, but yeah. So, but anyway, I think it's funny that the people at Madden decided hey, let's get 17 more Super Bowls out of Patrick Mahomes.
It's terrible, dude. I don't understand
why would you give him motivation?
You shouldn't.
Why don't you make him the first 100?
That's a good idea.
Make him the first 100.
Earned
make him feel he's earned it, and then you make him fat and happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good notion.
Yeah. He should be the first 100.
He did that. Yeah. Yeah. That, or maybe we'll have to see what Travis Hunter can do, but
yeah,
he'd be on the other one.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to have a high rating first off because he's a rookie.
He's got to prove it.
He'll have a higher rating as a rookie than most, but yeah. And it's because he'll have the slider bars. I know the older people watching this don't understand this, but there's a slider.
Yeah.
And it shows what their skill is in each thing. So quarterbacks, it's accuracy, long, short, medium, how power, scrambling ability, like play action, like are they good at these certain things? And they have it. It's like a slider moves. So, but Patrick Mahomes on the slider is a 95, and that's going to motivate him and make him crazy.
We have a super chat. Hold
we
on
do?
1 second. Okay. There you go.
Thanks for the intro with Syntax Bros like PC. Oh, thank you. Thank you, retired stockbroker. Thank you very much. Good work, Andrew, in getting that, bringing that to my attention. In a few minutes, we'll have Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com, and we'll come back and kind of cover anything we missed so far. So, anyway, I you know what? Before we get Mickey in the chat room, Garrett, we'll look these up. I want to know some superstitions.
Oh,
we'll go to the break, go through. If you have a superstition, I want to know what it is. Put it in the chat. We'll do that before Mickey. What are your superstitions? Whether it's watching your team or playing a game or whatever, what are your superstitions? This is 365 Sports.
In our logo and advertising, we say we are people that you can count on. What does that mean? It starts with providing a quality vehicle and quality service at a fair price. But it also means we do what we say we will do, and we treat people fairly with respect. It starts by hiring great people, good local folks who work hard with a caring attitude. Our employees are the real reason we are people that you can count on. Put us to the test and see for yourself that at Richard Carr Motors, we are people you can count on.
Parenting is full of surprises.
You never know what to expect.
So after our son was born, I called my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent to set up a life insurance policy in case something happened to me.
Sawyer is now 2.
And we'll soon have a sister. There's no one else I would trust with protecting my family.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Developed by Startup Waco, a nonprofit organization, GXG is a program designed to support the entrepreneurial development of Baylor University student athletes through NIL activations. The program helps student athletes maximize their platforms and offers a comprehensive support system for them to create and grow new businesses that not only benefit themselves, but also uplift the local economy. Fans who wish to support student athletes can donate to GXG via the GXG NIL Fund, BaylorBears.com/GXG. Contributions to support NIL activations through GXG can be made at BaylorBears.com/GXG. For more information, follow @GXG_GreenXGold on social media and visit the official website www.gxg.startupwaco.com. GXG, empowering student athlete entrepreneurship and uplifting the local economy through NIL activations.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine now has 2 locations to serve you. The original on Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street and the brand new spot in downtown Waco at 600 Franklin Avenue. If you're looking for the best in craft beers or local Texas bourbons, then the original is the place to be. And for the latest trends and online phenomenons, head downtown to the Franklin location. Either way, you're going to get the same great variety, customer service, and speedy experience. Check out both locations on their Facebook and Instagram pages, Riverbend Liquor and Wine, Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street, and now downtown on Franklin Avenue.
This is 365 Sports. Check out the 365 Sports family of channels on YouTube.
Welcome back. Paul Catalina alone. We gotta teach him to walk that down. I'm gonna give you a lesson after the show of walking that back down a little bit. Let's go to the chat while we await Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. Let's see. Oh, I got to vote in the poll. Hold on. Okay. There we go. Let's see. My chat disappeared for a second. Okay. Retired soccer says that I'm spoiled with beef Wellington and a bidet. Nobody is spoiled with a bidet at all. So let's see. Retired stockbroker says this is ball marker in golf is his superstition. Rafael Sanchez says, my family thinks I'm crazy for my superstitions. Nothing insane, but they just don't get why I'm superstitious. Let's see. No, nobody else yet, Garrett. Let's see. Well, okay, Rafael Sanchez. When I go to games, there are only 2 pants I will wear no matter how hot it is. If I'm eating beforehand, it has to be Chick-fil-A. If for whatever reason the shirt comes off, it stays off all night. Well, there you go. Grateful 365. Thanks for the super chat. So your pet cat Meow says, I'm superstitious but don't have a ritual. So that's one of those things that maybe like, is it like, I guess maybe like black cats running under in front of you or walk under ladders or broken mirrors or things like that. Okay. Those I can follow a little bit. So, but yeah, I'm curious. But Rafael Sanchez, that's good. I love how he threw in, if for whatever reason the shirt comes off, it stays off all night. I mean, that he had to mention it, means it happens quite a bit. And so that's a bit weird. Paxton says he knocks on wood quite a bit. Right, tired stockbroker walks in 45-degree angles while he's crossing the road. So there we go. That's interesting for superstitions. Mickey Spagnola, a guy I know is not superstitious. He's totally stitious. Mickey, is the training staff overworked today?
Yes, they were. So were the doctors too, by the way. It was strange because they were supposed to start off in pads and then transition to shells for the rest of the practice. And a bunch of the players said, no, we need to work in the pads. And then they proceeded to have 3 injuries take place. One to Jake Ferguson, ended up with a back. He got sideswiped by Kenneth Murray, and he went down. Now they walked him off, so they were going to examine the back and be very careful. Jaden Blue, the rookie running back, got basically somewhat thrown to the ground by Sam Williams from his face mask, and he sprained an ankle. And then Dakota Shepley left with a sprained ankle also. So the last thing they needed, well, you don't want to lose Jake Ferguson for any reason, but with the injuries at the running back position, and chances are Javonte Williams is not going to play on Saturday in the first preseason game. They're getting low on running backs. If Williams is not playing, Sanders is hurt. He's not playing. Now Blue's probably out. And Deuce just got back into practice after missing a week. So they're going to be short on running backs when they get to the game on Saturday.
Yeah, Phil Maffa.
Yes,
it's your shot, buddy. Hope you're feeling in shape because you're going to get
he and Hunter Lepke. Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm all for Mickey. I'm a big Hunter Lepke fan, so
yes.
I'm all for seeing him getting number 1 reps at running back. I'm whatever. I'm a fullback champion. So the more Hunter Lepke we get in our lives, I think the better.
Well, Paul, not only is he playing fullback, he's playing sometimes in the nickel as a 1-back, and not just to protect. They're actually handing him the ball. And as he said, if I need to play tight end, I'll play tight end. Well, they put him at tight end, or at least lined him up like a tight end too. So, yeah, he's the Swiss Army knife.
Didn't they do that when Herschel Walker came back with him, where they kind of lined him up all over the field? Like when he came back, I don't want to say he was he played at tight end, but they would line him up and put him in motion and things like that to see if they could get something out of, whatever else was left in Herschel's tank.
Yeah. And there wasn't much left at that point. But yeah, he was somewhat of a high paid decoy, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. He came back to try to get that Super Bowl ring that was because of him anyway. But anyway, Mickey, so the Micah Parsons thing continues to drag on, and it's maybe a little bit unique in that Mike has been much more verbal, at least until today, about this than most would. Do you think that this is, I mean, again, we've seen this for years, Emmitt Smith, like all this, the Cowboys always get this worked out. There's never really been times when they haven't with a player that they will, and this is just a bump in the road, or is this one feel any different to you?
No, I think we've seen it before, and we'll see it again when it comes to negotiations. And, what people need to understand, it takes two to tango, right? The Cowboys could want to sign him. We haven't heard much of how much they want to sign for. And as Jerry said the other day, we could have had this done in March. And then they upped the ante. And so, and he wasn't on the practice field today. He's been on the practice field, in basically jersey and, sweatpants and things like that. One day he was even walking around with his helmet, but he was not on the field today. So I don't know if something was brewing or he decided he's going to up the ante. But as Stephen Jones said, we're not trading him. He can ask until he's blue in the face. He ain't going anywhere because he's under contract. So again, here's the bottom line. Guys don't miss paychecks, right? And he's guaranteed $21 million. So do the math. If you divide that by 18, that's over $1 million a game or a week for 18 weeks. He's not passing that up. So something will give at some point. But here's the other part of this. He's probably, and I've been told, going to need 2 weeks to get ready to play. Mm-hmm. He hadn't been in pads since January 5th. They're not going to just send him out there like they sent Michael out there in 92, 4 days after he signed before the first game. I just don't see that's happening. So, if he doesn't get signed like when they get back to the start, there's a good chance he could miss the first game or at least not be available for the first game at their own choice because they'll still have 16 more games to play. And the last thing you want to do is get a guy hurt because he hasn't been playing football and then he's going to miss another month.
This one, it's just the other thing I would tell, I had some people ask me, who would trade for him? I'm like, look, I'm sure there'd be a lot of teams that would call because, why wouldn't you call if the best pass rusher in the league is available? But the ask for it, if the Cowboys were even considering it, I don't know a team in the league that would do it for what he's really worth, for them to make it worth their while, because this is a dude who's at least 2 first-round picks to, start the conversation. It's 2 first-round picks minimum before you even get into anything else.
Paul, 2 first-round picks next year. And as far as we could tell, there's only 2 teams that have that. I believe it's Cleveland and maybe the Jets. Yeah. And Cleveland's already paying a defensive end a whole heck of a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
But that's where I start, 2 first-round picks next year. I don't want 1 and 1. No, I want a starter too, by the way, in exchange. So that's not going to happen. And
there's not even
if
practical.
Anybody's going to trade for him, they got to give up, a boatload, and they're going to have to pay him. He's not going to go to another team and play for the 5th-year option, right? So that team's going to say, well, I'm minimizing how much I give you because I'm going to have to pay him this amount of money. Well, he's not taking the Cowboys off their hands because they're already absorbing his $21 million into the cap right now. So it's not like they're doing him a favor. So that's not going anywhere. And I think, I don't know if I've told you this story. I know I've told David this, but back in the day when I worked with Frank Lux, esteemed columnist for the Dallas Times-Herald, and I was new to these contracts, and you get all fired up and this and that, and Frank would go, you know what this is like? This is like being in the neighborhood and a cat gets stuck up in the tree and everybody gets worried. They're calling the police and the fire department. We got to get the cat down. And he said, the bottom line is, have you ever seen a dead cat in a tree? They always come down. And players always sign. And I remember that all these years later, and that's usually the truth. At least for the Cowboys, they always have their guys, or the guys always sign in the end.
Yeah, they do. And look, this one is taken up a notch. It reminds me, I would say the most comp one would be Emmett, right? This is kind of like Emmett when he held out.
Which time he held out? He held out twice.
Yeah. But I would say
he missed all his rookie training camp.
Yeah.
And didn't sign until the Tuesday before the season opener. And then the next time he did miss 2 games, but eventually got signed. Ezekiel Elliott missed all of training camp and signed the week of the opener and ended up playing 13 plays. But that's a running back and a wide receiver. It's not a defensive end trying to beat some 320-pound offensive lineman to get to the quarterback. And that's makes you susceptible to injuries.
Yeah. And these, you know what I would tell people who are panicking about this is these things kind of happen out of the blue when it gets to this point, right? Like just one day, there's a day where all of a sudden it just happens. And so eventually before the season starts or whenever, this is just going to happen. And then Micah will have a contract whenever that is.
The Cowboys would sign him tomorrow, right? And he doesn't want to sign tomorrow because he wants more money than the Cowboys.
Yeah. So what do you make of Jerry saying we talked? I thought we had a deal. It was a handshake thing, and then he's not calling the agent. That's where I get confused on this one. Why it feels a little bit different.
Well, no, because he talked with Micah. And it was back in March. And if you remember at one point, Micah said, I don't need to be the highest paid player at my position.
Yeah.
And somebody said, well, does that mean you'll take less than $40 million a year? And he didn't name a number, but he said, we can work this out. And I think Jerry thought they had a handshake deal. And then when it got the agent involved, it was like, no, sirree, we're not signing for that. And listen, here's the other layer. The NFLPA monitors these things, and they want their players to get as much money as possible because then the next guy in that situation is going to get more, and that will up how much money the owners are paying the players, and it makes the NFLPA look good. So they monitor this. I know because there's been times guys were going to take a pay cut to help with the training, with the salary cap, and the NFLPA gets on the phone right away and goes, "Oh no, you're not. We don't take pay cuts." So a little bit behind this also.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, that was the one. That's the one weird part about this to me that I couldn't quite put my finger on. Is like it feels like he refuses to call the agent, at least from the outside, and I don't understand.
Let me tell you a story about that. So back in the day, Bob Ackles was basically the guy that negotiated contracts. And I can't remember the player that held out. So this would have been early 90s. And I asked Bob, I said, have you talked to the agent? He goes, no, it's been a couple weeks. And I said, well, why don't you call him? And Bob said, every time I pick up the phone, I'm spending money. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, that makes sense. Because if I'm calling you and we're negotiating something, I'm going to say, okay, I'll give you this. Meaning more than what I've been offering, right?
Yeah.
So now it's their turn. How much do you want? And then we can go from there. And that's one thing I don't think anybody understands is not only is he under contract, but we don't know what they're asking for. And if it was me, I'm asking for $50 million a year. Now, the Cowboys certainly aren't going to pay that, but that's my starting spot. And then I could come down and I'll get closer maybe to the 40, but maybe I get 45. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what's going on right now.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is like the numbers, like they know, like you have, as far as like what the going rate is, you know what the going rate is for guys like him. So it's not like there's like wild variations on what that could be. You know, Myles Garrett makes this much, TJ Watt makes this much. He's going to get somewhere in the range of Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, right? And it's just working it out in the cap.
Over how many
years? Like all those, that's the details, right? The amount, like the number, the salary per year, whatever that is, they kind of know what that's going to be. It's just how do they structure the contract, right?
Because they need it to be at least 4 years, right? Because they can prorate it now, the signing bonus over 5 years. because they still got to account for this year. You can put signing bonus into the 2025 season, and then you spread it over 5 years. But if they're asking for a 3-year deal and
like
you're
TJ
only
Watt
spreading
got
it over 4, the signing bonus, then it makes a bigger impact on the salary cap. So there's a lot of other things than just total structure and guaranteed money.
Yeah, TJ Watt got a 3-year deal. So then, like, of course, you would maybe ask for that because then you make another
if I give
restructure
you
in
a
a couple years.
3-year deal, then you're getting less signing bonus.
Yeah, that's true. So there's all of that goes on. Mickey, what have you seen from Trayshawn Holden this week? You mentioned him a little bit last week.
Yeah, he's had some really good practices. Especially last week, it seemed like every day he was making a spectacular catch, right? Now it's a matter of, I think, what he's done so far, maybe he has a spot on the practice squad. I don't know about making the 53-man roster.
Because he's not a big guy either. So
no, he's bigger than you think. He's not a little guy. I was going to look here on my little sheet and see. So he's 6'2", 208. That's not small for a wide receiver.
Okay.
But he's got a little something. I don't know if he has the speed, but he sure catches the football. So it'll be interesting to watch that one.
Lael Collins is back. I saw a video of him and Donovan Ezaraku working together. And it made me want to ask you, I haven't asked you about Donovan yet. From what I've heard and read, he is as advertised so far when it comes to his athleticism.
Oh, absolutely. Boy, he's got a great get off as a pass rusher. I think you can't just judge rushing the quarterback. You also, if you're going to play that defensive end spot, you got to hold down the edge, right? In the run game. But yesterday when we got to talk to the assistant coaches, the Cowboys' new defensive line coach, Aaron Whitecotton, couldn't say enough good things about, as they call him, Easy. And so, as a matter of fact, Whitecotton actually admitted that, he wanted the Cowboys to take him in the first round. He thought he was that good and felt grateful that he lasted to the second round. So this guy, you're going to get to see him Saturday in the preseason game against the Rams. And if he's going up against their backup offensive lineman, he's going to show what he can do as a pass rusher on this defense.
Mickey, you don't have much longer in Oxnard, do you?
A week.
A week? Okay. I mean, in the grand scheme, well, that's still a long time. But a week.
But look what's behind me, right? This morning when I woke up, the Marine layer was already here. It was foggy. I ride my bike into practice or into the facility here, and I had to take my sunglasses off because they got all fogged up and they were wet. By 9 o'clock, the clouds broke. It was 66 degrees. Okay. And it's like, boy, it's hard to leave here. I swear it is.
Every time when I go when I fly in, I usually fly into Burbank. And so when I get to Burbank and it's 15 degrees hotter in Burbank, I'm like, it's just going to be worse.
Let's see what we got here. Right now, the temperature is 67 degrees. It feels like 68. I understand why people live here and don't leave, right?
Yeah, no, that's why they pay those high taxes.
Well, that's true.
I mean, that's why they do it. That's look, hey, you're paying for the weather.
And
sure.
Then they also survive tsunami advisories like we did last week, right?
Oh yeah, that had to be wild.
That was a new one for me. I've felt earthquakes out here, but never a tsunami advisory.
Yeah, no, that is definitely a new one. Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. Mickey, enjoy the Rams game. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, talk to you, Paul. Thanks.
All right. Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. The top 5 coming up in just a second. But, Garrett, I sent you a picture.
Mm-hmm. You did.
I did. And I know that they were friends and all. But do you have it?
You want the picture up?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go get this real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a super chat real quick. Hang on.
Okay.
I'll put the super chat up. Then I'll go
Get super chat and go get this. But I'm sorry to Aggie fans. You guys have suffered enough to have this happen to you. And it was in Manchester, England. Superstition from Grateful 365. Don't shake the hand of an undertaker. Oh, okay.
That's interesting because I've been reading The Faithful Executioner, and it talks about how the stigma around executioners and people like that. So it kind of goes hand in hand with that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I get that. I always think about those guys in the Green Mile.
The guys in the Green Mile.
Do you remember they watched the Green Mile? Like it was, it made me like realize like that's a really thankless and terrible job that they have there. You know, it's tough. It's tough. But I don't know if Mickey made me feel better or not.
He usually never makes you feel better, from what I've gathered.
No, I mean, like, I still think that the way the Cowboys have done this is ridiculous.
It is.
It's ridiculous. I think they need to change the way they do it so that this stuff doesn't just keep happening, but they enjoy it too much. You know, maybe Mike is enjoying it too. I don't know. He likes attention.
I think he is.
I'm sure he is, you know, like in some way. But I do know it's a headache. Like when you're this close to making $50 million a year or something, and it's not over the finish line, even though you're making 21, and that's nothing to sneeze at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it, you know, I don't know what it's like to make $21 million, and I certainly don't know what it's like to make 50. But if I was making 21 and I was about to make 50, my patience would maybe be like, I can't wait for that 50.
Exactly.
And then my 50 is determined on how well I run and tackle and do, you know, athletic things. It would make me even more like, you know, this is a ticking clock here. You know, like Father Time waits for no man.
No, not at all. Undefeated.
He just forgets about some people for a minute. Like he's like, oh, hey, Nolan Ryan, huh? Oh, I missed that one 10 years ago. I guess I don't have to go take care of that. Oh, Tiger Woods. All right. Well, it's
coming for you, Tiger.
Let's go get that one, you know. Oh, LeBron James. Yeah, you know what?
Still waiting on that one.
I sent you a warning with that with the weird balding, but you know, it's coming. Like he maybe is like that's going to come up. Like
I cannot stand LeBron James. Like he is probably the athlete I hate the most.
Absolutely. In a year or two, again, Father Time's gonna be like, oh crap, forgot about him. All right,
coming for you,
LeBron.
Bro.
It's coming for you, all of it. You know, every athlete that makes it like into their 40s, like, oh man, look at this, still good. Yeah, you just got overlooked, or he put you down on the list for some reason.
I almost got this uploaded. I promise.
So, yeah. So anyway,
there you go.
Okay, there we go. This is Drake in Manchester.
I didn't even know he was still doing things.
Yeah, not in
his career got killed.
Not in this country, I guess. I think he's in England.
He is.
Yeah, he's in England. So because they're also not like us.
No.
No. But here is Drake wearing a Johnny Manziel jacket, who they were friends, if you remember back in the day. I'm sure he and Johnny did a little of the
they did a little running, a little of
the powder.
A
little of the powder together.
Yeah.
I'm talking about skiing, of course. They did a couple ski trips.
a couple of big ski trips
to Aspen and Stad together with some skiing. A&M fans have suffered enough, man.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
You know what? I have never seen a musical artist go from the most popular in the world to this guy is a dork faster than Drake.
No, I mean, he was always kind of a dork. He just finally fully got exposed.
I mean, like, yes. Like he's very talented. I'm not gonna say he's not, but like he's always been kind of like a tourist.
Yes.
In hip hop, in the sports world, he's a tourist because ultimately
whoever's hot, he's going to go show up at your school.
But he was a Canadian teen soap star.
Yes.
Okay. So he came by rap in a much more simple, easy fashion because I don't know what the life is like for a Canadian soap star, but I do know that it's easier than where Kendrick Lamar grew up.
A little bit different.
So when Kendrick Lamar kind of exposed him of like, hey, this guy's like, again,
yeah,
not really in this community.
No, not at all.
For reasons that are also, you know,
it all makes sense in my book.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't want to get into adjudicating Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick won 500 to nothing.
Random thing here, and I'm surprised Smokey hasn't brought this up since we're on Manziel. Coaching at Liberty Hill. He took over the head coach at Liberty Hill, and Smokey has not brought that up one time.
Johnny Manziel is the coach at Liberty Hill. 90 miles from here.
90 miles. And
Johnny Manziel is the head coach.
Is the head coach at Liberty Hill.
Johnny Manziel is in charge of young lives.
Yeah. Have fun with that.
I can tell you they're not going to run that offense they used to run.
Well, they quit running it because that coach left, and then they spread it out. But now, And Smokey hadn't brought that one up yet.
I did not know that.
I think it happened like 2 weeks ago.
Wow. Well, that's really late. It's after coach's school.
Yeah.
So Johnny Manziel.
Johnny football.
Oh, all right. Well, I hope honestly, I hope it works out for him.
I do too.
I do. I love Johnny Manziel. There has not been my godfather told me there's never been, he's a huge Aggie fan, went there, I graduated same time as my dad. They actually have the same exact name. There's Tall Pete and Short Pete.
Right.
I'll let you get which one was mine. But he told me one time, I've never enjoyed an athlete as much as I enjoyed watching Johnny Manziel.
Oh, it was magical.
I'm not so sure that there's not a college football player that I've enjoyed that much in my lifetime either.
I always go to this, but Prime Honey Badger at LSU was.
But you have those guys like that where it's I'm not sure. And look, I love Jameis Winston. I had a blast.
He was no Johnny.
But it's the way that Johnny played was just so.
It was backyard football.
It was ridiculous. And it's not the same without Mike Evans. I think people keep forgetting about Mike Evans.
Before that.
Yeah,
Ryan
Swope was there at the same time.
Before that.
Yeah, well, they were there at the same time, Swope and Evans, and they were different kind of skill sets.
Yeah, but Swope was his main guy before Evans that following year.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Reagan, his Ryan Swope's sister, used to intern for us.
Oh, nice.
Back in the day. But Mike, I remember going to that Cotton Bowl against Oklahoma and I had seen him play 4 or 5 times that year in person. But that Cotton Bowl against Oklahoma, when there was a really good Oklahoma team, and A&M, when they were the Big 12, never beat Oklahoma like they did that night, and have Bob Stoops be like, psh, psh,
what do you do?
What do you do? It was one of the most dominant between two, especially Mike Evans. Him and Mike Evans. Swope, I think, had a touchdown in that game too. But he and Mike Evans, it was the most dominant 1-2 punch I've seen in college football ever in one game. Where it's just no, you can't stop these two guys. You think you have them dead to rights, and you can't physically beat them. He can get out of whatever you're doing, and he's just going to chuck it up to this dude who's 6'5" and has the best vert in the country. It's crazy. When we come back, the top 5. This is 365 Sports.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite.
This is Paul Catalina's Top 5.
Welcome into Paul Catalina's Top 5 as we continue through my Top 25 rankings. If you're confused, Top 25, Top 5, you're new here, just buckle your seatbelt, get in ready to go. We're going through numbers 15 through 11 today. And don't forget about our sponsor, flagandanthem.com, and our promo code 365sports. If you want to look like a fancy man, flagandanthem.com. I don't know if they would want me to say fancy man, but I don't know. They've got good stuff there. I promise you their shirts are super comfortable for sure. Number 15, SMU. Big Kevin Jennings stand here. Big Rhett Lashley stand here. I like what SMU's got going on. They didn't lose a lot last year. They're going to have to figure out the running game a little bit. I think they will get it done, but I like Kevin Jennings a lot as a starting quarterback. I'm not really confident in the ACC as a league top to bottom, so I think they should be able to go through pretty well. Now, do they have a little bit of a tougher schedule than they did last year? Yes, but I don't think that's going to bother them too much. I think what's going on at SMU is pretty unique and special. Number 14, Kansas State. Avery Johnson, year 3. I think it's time to pop for Avery Johnson. Let me go back because I knocked the thing back there. But Kansas State should be great on defense, really good running the ball, and if Avery Johnson is as good passing as we hear he is, this is going to be a team that's really tough to beat and will contend for the Big 12 title all year long. Number 13, Michigan. I want to rank them higher. I really do, but they have had some losses from the national championship run they had, but they were so loaded last year that without a quarterback, they still beat the eventual national champion and won their bowl game. Literally, they didn't have anybody who could walk and chew gum. Now they have 2 guys. Freshman superstar Bryce Underwood, who comes there with a lot of money, mostly from Barstool Sports. And Mikey Keene, a gamer of a quarterback who's been at UCF and Fresno State, who I think Michigan fans will really like if he plays. He's way better than anything they had last year. So if Mikey Keene starts or if Bryce Underwood starts, I think you'll see better things from that offense at Michigan this year, even though they're replacing a lot of parts from the national championship run and the follow-up season, which was really good on defense, but offense was pretty abysmal. Number 12, Miami. I'm in wait-and-see mode on Carson Beck. How healed is his arm after offseason surgery? Can he still be as strong as he was? Plus, he is not the off-schedule guy that Cam Ward is. I talked about this in the top 5 earlier this week. So when things go awry, can Carson Beck make them not awry like Cam Ward could? I'm still waiting to see that. They'll be improved on defense, but I don't know how much in year 1. Number 11, and here's where it starts. Utah. You may call me crazy, but they have one of the best offensive lines in the country, bookended by first-round picks at either tackle, more than likely. They have a quarterback in Devin Dampier who last year at New Mexico had to do it all himself. Will not have to do that at Utah. His offensive coordinator comes over with him. Kyle Whittingham is looking to go out with a bang in the next year or two. Devin Dampier can help him do that. Their only problem, much like Michigan, was their lack of quarterback the last couple of years and waiting out Cam Rising's health. Well, now they don't have to do that. Devin Dampier, Big 12 Newcomer of the Year. You heard it here. I don't know about first, but you heard it here. That's going to do it for this top 5. We dive into the top 10 starting tomorrow. It's time for some polls. Okay, let's dive into these polls. One genie wish. What stadium rule are you ditching for yourself? Okay. Allow non-clear bags is 15%. 73%. Overwhelming winner. Bring outside food and drinks. Now, I will say this. I agree with this one, and not because I don't want to give my money and more of my hard-earned money to the stadium for their food.
Right.
I think that if you're going to charge that much for stadium food, the quality needs to meet the cost.
Yeah, it needs to match it.
Yeah, it needs to match it. So Major League Baseball has kind of got this down a little bit. They figured out, like, hey, if we're
teams have the themes.
Yeah, if we're going to charge $18 for nachos, we're going to make $18 nachos. Right. And so, like, they do that. Some places don't. And, like, after becoming a full-fledged Costco member, I have determined that hot dogs should cost $1.50.
They should.
And that everywhere should follow the Costco hot dog rule, that the hot dog should cost this much. And then you can make your markup onto the things like candy and pizza and whatever else.
Drinks.
Yeah. But a hot dog should cost $1.50. A hamburger should cost $4. Like, that's what it should. Cheeseburger, $4.50. That's what it should be. So you can at least have something.
Right.
Popcorn should not be expensive.
No.
I'm always amazed when I see they have $9 kettle corn. I'm like, I'm doing that.
Not happening.
I love kettle corn, but go F yourself. Yeah. $9. Yeah. So 73%. Wow. Do Madden ratings actually matter when judging? Another overwhelming. Just a video game. On field is better than ratings. Yes. Stats matter more and ratings reflect skill. I voted for the top one, that ratings reflect skill, because I do believe that Patrick Mahomes is the 4th best quarterback in the league. And maybe the 40th best of all time. I'm going to stick by that. No, I think it's just a game, but it does it irritates them.
Oh, it absolutely does.
It irritates.
It's like a personal attack.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, if my podcast video game rating was below 90, it was below 90.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed. Maybe I'm not a 99, but I think I'm at least a 90. And then it would drive me to be and if I got 90, I'm like, how do I get to 99?
Right, yeah.
But if you put me at 87, I'm like, no, come on. Come on. Yeah, no. This is when I make podcast the video game.
Engineered by Matt Brown.
Yeah, no, it's we'll get that. We'll do podcast the video game. They have video games for everything else.
They really do.
Why isn't there a podcast the video game?
It's coming.
Where you try you have a podcaster and you just podcast head to head.
Just debate it.
You just podcast head to head. You can have here's the deal. You have different categories. You politics, sports, news, baking, whatever. Whatever. There's a podcast for everything. And then you just you take me and Barstool, you put us head to head and see what happens.
I'm for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think, and it's just you got the controller and you're like, hey, X button. There we go. Yeah. So infographic. Social media boost. I again,
you just nailed it.
It's $1 billion idea. $1 billion idea.
Pick it up, EA.
There we go. I'm there. It's on video now. You can't steal it from me. Sue your ass off. That's what'll happen. All right. I almost said have a great weekend, everybody. It's Thursday.
It feels like Friday, though.
Yeah, it feels like it's Thursday. I will be back tomorrow. Faith Lynch will be here co-hosting with me and Garrett. We're going to do some fun stuff, some kind of outside the box stuff tomorrow, but we will have Ari Temkin. We will have Josh Neighbors and more. This is 365 Sports. Like and subscribe like your life depended on it. Good night, everybody.